Very good morning, Manas. Please start writing the test. Done. Done. Could you answer this question? Very nice. Start writing. So, 3 more minutes, guys. Yes, you have to complete the MCQs. Don't take a break. Complete it, please. MCQs you can finish in 3 minutes. There's nothing. You are my student. It should be good enough for you. Okay. Done? Very nice. So when did you guys get the handout on the portal? Evening? Yes. Around 4:35, something around that. This question, mind you, you understand what is open economy, right? An open economy is an economy where export, import, FDI, free flow. There is no restriction. So, accordingly, you have to answer. Which of the following areas, employment and unemployment between this? So, this is factual. Okay, no problem. KD, hope that recovery happens very soon. And kudos to you, you are still attending. So, you should watch all the videos, remaining videos, whatever you have missed. Get the things fine on health front. And then definitely you appear in this test again. So, you have the question paper. After you watch all the videos, you try these questions again. Because anyway, I will give the answer tomorrow only. I want one day so that you guys think about what's the answer. Maybe today you are not getting, but tomorrow. This will help you to develop the thinking habit. And I hope, and I am very confident, that if you look at this question once more, tomorrow you will not have a doubt. So think about it once more. And there is a reason we have mentioned open economy. Because the moment you close the economy, there are a few things which will not happen. Right, so open economy. Think about it. Cool. But previous test, I don't think there is any doubt. Do you have a doubt? Cool. I knew it. I have confidence over you guys. Cool. So guys, done. Now tell me one thing. Let me show you the table. Please match the table and tell me how many did you get correct. This table is important for me to evaluate. Bataiye. So please check and let me know who got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. For every entry, 1 mark. So all 7 correct. No, match it here and then tell me if you. And even if you have no economic advisor, half marks deducted. Everything. Pakka, sure. So PB you are getting all. Ketan, which one did you miss? And so you got all. Vaishali, you got all. All? Who missed? 180. Okay, Ayush, iPad all. Who missed out? 1. Okay. You missed out 1. Okay. A short. I left the. No, for you, I understand. Health is the issue, so it's fine. Short form, that's not a miss. You wrote NSSO, so that's not a problem. But wherever you are writing NSO, make it a habit. In the bracket, you must mention NSO. So where NSSO, in the bracket NSO is compulsory. Rajan, where did you miss? And where did you miss? There you missed. Here, okay. So this needs to be worked then. And Rajan, where did you make the mistake? By the way, absolutely important table for the exam. Do you write all? Everything? Which one? This? GDP. Okay. So guys, this table is extremely important for all competitive exams. UPSC ke liye to this is almost like soul of UPSC. UPSC wants this, that you should know everything. Even if you have written the short form, that's not a problem. The thing is that you should have written it. Like instead of writing Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, even if you're writing MOSPI, that's correct. Because this is a test practice, no? And this is for prelims. So it's absolutely perfect. So Rajan, it's 7 out of 7 then. So you are new, so you might not have written. For you, it's the first time. But this is how we'll practice. We'll do this practice again day after tomorrow. It's like a ritual. So there are a few things which will repeat. So similarly, when I start teaching you inflation very soon now, so when I teach you a little bit of inflation, there are some formulas which will repeat every day. Like first 10 minutes, repeat. This is revision, so that you don't have to study at home. And I gave you a funda to all of you who have joined just the class for the first time or second lecture. So all correct? Wonderful. Okay, MS. Memorize. Now, there is a myth in UPSC preparation that you don't have to memorize things. ऐसा बिल्कुल भी नहीं, that's absolutely incorrect. So you have to memorize things. Like these things have to be memorized. There is no other way to write this answer. Now that's number one. Number two, so I keep on telling you guys that and take it very seriously. That in the morning you attend the lecture with me. That's your best phase of the day. So you are giving the most productive time of your day to this subject, which is highly rewarding in prelims and mains. Obviously interview, obviously your career. So that's it. But no hangovers. Don't do this subject whole day. Get out of this economics mode once the class is over and start studying other subjects equally well and equally diligently. And in the evening, around your bedtime, you should open all these things. Just glance through it once and done. And have confidence over yourself that even if I look at the notes just once during bedtime, it's going to be good enough. Why? Because in coming days, in the future, around let's say December, January, whenever you start writing your mock tests, the mock test for UPSC prelims, you write almost like 30-40 mock tests. In every mock test, there will be some question related to these things. So it's a practice. So you are going to revise it so many times before prelims, because you will be joining some test series to practice your mock test. Similarly, you will be writing answer, for a mains answer test series overall. So you are doing practice in the class. We are doing these kind of things. We are cross-questioning, answering, interacting. You will write mock test. You will write mains test. How many times you will revise all these things? So what's the need to hold a study one subject only? And beyond the time, if you go deeper into it, then you go away from UPSC. And then the length prolongs. We don't want that. We want results. And we want results in time. Time frame is very important in life. So it's not about when you get it. It's about the fact that if you are giving your heart and soul this year you should get the result. And how do you make sure that you get this year the result? The balance between subjects. That's very important. If you keep talking to only one person, imagine you have mom and dad. You keep talking to your mom only. Mom, how are you? I hope you're doing well, etc. You never talk to your dad. How would he feel? Heartbroken. Right? So he'll not feel good. So from inside he'll be hurt that my child never talks to me. I said, don't do that. Right? So that's a mom. Polity might be the dad. Similarly, history and culture. Careful. Okay, so that's one, and second is this table. So what did you write in the first box? Show me what you wrote. Correct. So did you write the formula in the first box? Which formula? Is equal to NSSO plus? Brilliant. And what did you write in the second box? Program implementation and 20-point program? MPLAD. How much money is given under MPLAD? Annually? 6 monthly. Two installments. Very nice. What is the third one? Which commission? National Statistics Commission. What does it do? What does it do?
Suggest the common
standards, common. Absolutely correct. It gives suggestion, it gives standards, absolutely correct. It suggests standards, national standards related to statistics, data collection, management, formulas. Yesterday we were studying PLFS, right? Who sets the standard for PLFS and how to survey, etc.? Same. So what else did you write in the third box? ISI, Indian Statistical Institute, absolutely correct. I thought what kind of full form will you give? I was just curious to know. So ISI, absolutely correct. ISI Kolkata. ISI Kolkata is the main branch, but then ISI Delhi was also developed, and then you have ISI Kolkata and Delhi. And I told you one of the most premier institutes of India, one of the best that India has produced. So, so when you study planning, you will see that in planning, PC Mahalanobis model, etc. So Dr. Mahalanobis was a professor. He is the one who set up and gave new meaning to ISI. So we'll study there. Now let's come back and without wasting time, let us write one mains part. This thing we did, huh? Yes, academic institution under MOSPI. Please answer one question. Let's do it quickly. Yeah. MCQs tomorrow. We'll do it like this. So you give it another thought. About the MCQs, you give it... no, Priyanka. They used to admit only like 4 or 5 seats used there. But as I told you that, I remember 1 year where only one person met the standards, only one student was selected. And I also remember it happened that there were 5 seats in one of the years. It was around 2010 or 11. There were 5 seats. Nobody fulfilled their standards. They didn't select anybody. So they conduct written tests, that's fine. In the interview, they reject almost everyone. Everyone they reject. Because almost all the professors would sit in the class on the chairs where the students are sitting, and they put the candidates here and they start giving questions to them and tell them solve in front of us. And the questions are almost like MSc level maths in an economics entrance exam. See, that's the reason. Okay, so as I was telling you about the MCQs, you give it another thought. Because getting the answer is not the point. Answer, so 2 seconds I'll give you the answer. You give it another thought, then you come tomorrow and then you ask me your questions that whether you are able to answer these MCQs. If any doubt you ask me, I'll straight away give the answer. Fine, give it another thought because you have to develop that thought process for the exam. Remember, it's a competitive exam. So things should come from here and we have to practice it. So you practice one more time, then tomorrow you ask me doubts, I'll clarify. The first question I created specially for a reason. And it's a very different kind of question. UPSC has never asked these kind of questions so far, but I expect UPSC to ask these kind of questions because every year UPSC is experimenting with something new. So I was also thinking that in how many ways can they experiment? So one of the ways is incomplete tables, which I asked you in the last test. One of the ways could be this. And there could be, having studied different courses, starting from MBA to so many things, I could gather various type of questions. So that's what I am giving you in the class one by one. Whatever I could learn, I am just giving you one by one, that if UPSC also experiments, they will go to these extent only and on this. It's not possible. So we'll practice it. 100% it is possible because UPSC does not have a set standard like how many options are correct. Only 1, only 2. This was a new thing they experimented. So I'm expecting that these type of questions in future going down the line is 100% possible. Just to select the right candidates who have good intuition and good understanding of the subject. Because if I mention the options, 90% of us can recall an answer. But suppose I leave everything blank and give a situation, it is that point of time that a person who has solid conceptual clarity, only that person can answer the question. Today UPSC starts to think more on selection lines that, okay, I have to select the right minds. They will ask these questions. Till the time they are in the mode that I have to reject people, they'll create a mix. And I think UPSC should become more positive. They should also give this kind of questions to select my students. Right, so I'm telling you, because not everybody practices these kind of things. Okay, let's come back. Now guys, see, chalo fatafat, you please answer a question. Revision in 30 seconds. You are also there. So, welcome question to you. What is the meaning of occupational structure? Meaning of occupational structure is the distribution of people in how many professions, how many sectors, which sectors? Agriculture, industry and services. Brilliant. So your friend is saying, see, he has answered the welcome question. So now I owe you a virtual chocolate, huh? I'll give it to you. So guys, what is the meaning of occupational structure? Meaning of occupational structure is that the distribution of the population, entire working age population in 3 sectors, agriculture, industry and services. And what did you notice? I want to show you something and then I'll give you the dictation. You will answer this. So can you please tell me, what do you notice? How many phases can we divide India into? Occupational structure. To my online students, how many phases? 2. Which one? You tell me one. What is the second phase, guys? Second phase? You tell me the second phase. Yes. 2001 to present? Absolutely. So, absolutely correct. Now, you have to tell me. Yes. That in this first phase, and to my online students, please type, I'm reading you. Oh, you already answered. Before I asked, you answered. Very nice. So, first phase, Tell me one striking feature related to agriculture. What happened to agriculture? Three options. Agriculture changed a lot significantly. The number of people in agriculture changed significantly. Number two, it was almost stagnant. And number three, the number of people in agriculture kept on declining. Stagnant. Number of people roughly stagnant. So whenever there is stagnancy in life, what do you expect? That is the sector becoming more productive? That's why it is stagnant, or productivity is almost stagnant or low, and no improvements. Right, so at a low level, the productivity got stuck. So beyond that low level, it can neither go down or go up. So stuck at a very bad phase. Very nice. Now, when the productivity is down, I want to ask you this question. When the the people agriculture, no machine technology, even people are not that trained. So what do you think will happen to the people in terms of income? Income will rise very fast, or income will stagnate at low level? Stagnate at low level. Brilliant. So these are the features. So what is the first feature? Absolutely, the first feature is that I'll dictate this. In just like 2-3 minutes, I'm going to dictate this entire thing. So first of all, the agriculture stagnated. Now, stagnancy of agriculture means that productivity is also stagnant, or rather productivity is very low. And productivity is directly connected to income. I'll give an example. Now imagine that you are working in a factory, you are a worker. Now every day you are manufacturing just one pen. So super low productivity. You will be fired. Or perhaps the best thing that will happen is you will get like 5 rupees a day. That's it. But imagine that if you work very hard and if you become more productive, you find new tricks to produce pen, and every day you are producing 20 pens, for your salary will rise. So productivity and salary increment are connected. So absolutely correct. Oh, very nice. Very nice. You already answered my next question. You read my mind. Very dangerous. So productivity is low, and because of productivity, income is also either stagnant or very low. When the income is low here in agriculture, think about it, bacho. Can I give one example? Yesterday I did not give that example to you, and you will understand the connection. I think I have spoken about it, but you remind me, please. Did I tell you that Apple is very happy with India's rural sector? No? Oh, I'll tell you. So when Apple came to India, they had this apprehension that would Indians be able to buy the gadgets and the products of Apple? Right? They opened the store in Mumbai and they thought only Mumbai will buy or Delhi will buy. They were in for a great surprise. Why? Because what happened is when they looked at the sales figure of 2023, right, this is real. Check online in newspaper, you'll find it. So in 2023, when they look at the entire sale figure, they realized that majority of sale, which is more than 50% sale of Apple, happened in tier 2, tier 3 cities and small towns, close to rural areas or close to fringe area between rural and urban, which means not completely urban, not completely rural, but fringe areas, outside urban areas, very small cities of India. Even nobody has even heard about those cities. There it started to sell across India, not just in one part of India, across India. And they were surprised. How is it happening? So they did a research that why people are buying these phones in these places, and they tried to find out which phones are being sold. So the most costly phones and these gadgets of Apple are being sold in tier 2, tier 3 cities and small towns of India. So then they started to find out how is it even possible. So they went there and they did a little bit of research. They published the research also. In the research they are saying that we now know that average rural income of India, number one, average has increased. That's number one, because people are making down payments. So they are saying that average rural income or fringe areas, which are not strictly rural, but between rural and urban, transition areas, peri-urban areas. So they are saying that there the income has actually increased. So down payments are being made. So 5,000-10,000 rupees people are giving, and then they are taking EMIs. So they are making EMIs payment, and then Apple said that we contacted banks also to find out that is there a default EMI? No major default. So payments are coming regularly. Now, what did Apple do after this? Apple said, wow, this is a good country. So now Apple started to change its plan. Earlier the plan of Apple, I'll only open stores in metro cities. Now Apple is saying, I'll go deeper. So I will open my stores close to the outskirts of urban areas. There also I'll open my flagship stores, because people who are in the fringe areas, let's just outside the urban area, they will come to the fringe and they will buy these products. And Apple said, I'll tie up with more banks in India now to give more EMIs. Why? Because they are saying urban market is not very attractive for me now, rural market is more attractive. Because even today, 45-46% of India is in rural India. So Apple is very happy. It is saying this is, an amazing trend, interesting trend. So now imagine there are 150 crore people in India. Like by the time we complete our course, it will be 150 crore. So I have full confidence. So we are 150 crore in three. Now out of 150 crore, let's remove 50 crore. Or children or people who are elder, who have no interest in material things. 100 solid crores. Now imagine if Apple is able to sell phone to just half of 50% of 100 crore, 50 crore phones. What are we trying to say? This is the biggest market on the planet. Sorry, this is the biggest market in the universe. Right? India itself is a planet. So now have a look at this. If our rural income rises, are you seeing where I am taking you now? If rural income will rise, because currently it is not, if this income will rise, there will be demand in rural area, and hence what will happen? Industry would have developed. Unfortunately, rural income was low. So majority of industries could not develop in this phase. And obviously, service sector was very limited. This is what we will write without wasting time. Please write. Phase 1 we have already written. Very nice. Chaliye, please write. Let's write. In this phase, so we are writing phase 1 only. No demand, no production. Very good. So please write, in this phase, the agricultural productivity was stagnant. Agricultural productivity was stagnant. Hence, the agricultural and the rural income was also stagnant at low level. Hence, agricultural and rural income was also stagnant at low level. Also, labor force was not released from agriculture to industries. Just put a full stop. Change the paragraph. In fact, the industries could not get high demand for their products. Industries could not get high demand for their products. Hence, even industrial base could not develop. Full stop. Also, the investment in supporting infrastructure like roads, electricity, water was very low. The government mainly focused, in the same paragraph, on public sector companies. Public sector companies means government companies. The government mainly focused on public sector companies, which became inefficient and loss making. with time, many of them suffered huge loss. Please full stop. Change the paragraph and write services were limited in this phase. Services were limited in this phase. This I will teach you when I teach you public sector enterprise, government companies. There is a separate lecture where I'll teach you privatization, disinvestment, public sector enterprise. Recently, 3 days back, there is a new company by Government of India called as HAL, has been inducted as the 14th Maharatna company. So this is one of the topics that we have to study in details. It's important for UPSC. But to give you very briefly, like in 2 minutes, to give you some ideas just for today, because this will be a separate lecture, public sector enterprise, towards the very end of your course. But so that I can gather more information by that time, all the current affairs will be included. So just to inform you today, listen to me for 2 minutes, you'll understand what I'm saying. So what happened is when we got independent here, 1947. So after 1947, government was badly looking for some private companies who would help India. Why? Because we wanted iron, steel, cement, aluminium, electricity, these things. We wanted cycles. But government realized that private companies are very weak. Because when the British came to India, they were the oppressors. When a colonial power comes to your country, do you believe that they will come to your country and they will make sure that Indian private companies become very strong? Nobody would do that. In fact, they would weaken our companies, because if our companies would become strong, then we will give a good competition to the British company called the East India Company. And they never wanted competition. So they would make sure in whatever is there in their capacity to make sure that the Indian private companies are weak, they are capital deprived, they do not have technology. That is what they did. Now, so what happened after independence, when the government spoke to the private companies, Indian private companies after independence, no private company was taking the responsibility that I will provide iron, steel and cement at all India level. They said regional level we can try, but all India level, sorry, we don't have the capacity. Then the government of India realized that, but the country needs it. Without electricity, how are we going to survive? Without cement, how will you construct buildings? It's impossible. So the government at that time decided that government companies will be established out of compulsion. So there are many people who today criticize why the government did that. Actually, the reality is different. It was a need of the hour. So see, when you travel 80 years ahead of time, then retrospectively, if you look in the past, there are many problems that you can point out at. This should not happen, that should not happen. Put yourself in those shoes in that year and then start to think what would you have done. So then you will realize that perhaps you didn't have much option at that time actually. So that's what the government did. So government of India decided that we'll go for public sector companies. Now these public sector companies were telling everyone that we will not manufacture these consumer items. Consumer items means items of day-to-day use. So these public sector companies said that we are only going to manufacture these basic and heavy items like iron, steel, aluminum, copper, electricity. These are heavy items. And where did they, manufacture all these things? In the rural areas of India. So that employment can also be created, balanced regional development will also happen, and we become self-sufficient also. This was the idea. But then there is a problem. I'll tell you the problem. This I'll teach you in detail later on, but just today to close the argument. So you see, the problem in life is, think about it. Now, let me give you a bizarre example. You are attending the lecture today, sitting in the class. To my online students, I can see you are all comfortably seated on your chairs, on your study table. Now imagine your mom sitting next to you on the left side, your dad sitting next to you on the right side, your grandparents sitting right behind you. Your uncle and aunt are also watching you, what you are writing. I mean, you are surrounded by 5-6 people. Every time you are attending a lecture, how would you feel? I mean, obviously they have good intentions, they are blessing you only, but how would you feel? So many times I see some of you are sneaking out and checking out your phone, text message, oh sab, stopped. One of your friends is saying, I'll be highly tensed, my BP will rise, obviously, right? So because every time you write a statement or a sentence, your parents will tell you, improve the handwriting. If you write with a blue pen, they will tell you, why did not you use the black pen to underline? And if you are writing some important words, they will tell you, why didn't you highlight? They'll try to make you efficient actually. Their intentions are fine. But there is a problem. It is called micromanagement. Micromanagement is never good. One should never micromanage somebody's life because we are different individuals and different individuals have different personalities. And each personality is unique in their own way and everybody has a different success formula. One should not try to force that this is the best thing to do. Nothing is best. So what did the government of India do? Government of India tried to micromanage. They said that PSEs, public sector companies, is my favorite child. Wow, now you have picked your favorite child. The moment a parent picks a favorite child, problem starts in the family, I tell you this. Right, have you experienced? No? Good, you're lucky. Right, so I have experienced otherwise. Whenever a chocolate used to come to my place, the entire packet of chocolate used to be given to my sister. So that grudge I'm still holding, I'm telling you this. So, let's come back. So guys, your online friend is saying, I am the favorite child because I am the only child. Wow, very nice. By default, you have to be the favorite. So, now I would like to call your parents and ask them behind your back. Kidding. So guys, Government of India said, my favorite child is the public sector companies. I will give my entire money, technology, support to them. Ab dekho guys, imagine this. Soch ke rehna. Think about it and please answer. In just yes or no. You meet somebody for the first time and that person tells you that let's be great friends, etc. Just give me the password of your Gmail, Instagram and Telegram and X. How comfortable would you be? Yes or no? Would you be comfortable? No. Micromanagement. You should run away from that person and place. Don't go ahead. I mean, this is the worst thing that we do in life. Anybody who says that they want to breach privacy, obviously it is not in our interest because there is a lack of trust. In the beginning only there is lack of trust. What kind of relationship that would be, right? So that's the reason that Government of India should not have done that. What did Government of India do? Government of India used to appoint IAS officers as chairman of public companies, government companies, and then from ministry, Government of India used to tell them, so hello Mr. IAS officer, what are you doing? The IAS officer used to say, chairman, that I'm planning to create great steel in Steel Authority of India. Government used to say great steel, but we don't want great steel. IAS officer used to say, no, but I can create a great product. I have some ideas. Government used to say, who is asking your ideas? Because we are monopoly. There is only one company, Steel Authority of India. After independence, they said, there is only government sector. There is no private sector. You don't have any competition. Why do you want to put money in research, development, technology and improving the quality? It is not required. Just let it be, whatever it is. And who told you to produce steel? We don't need steel today. We need cement. And you used to tell, what will cement do without steel? And the government used to say, we will decide. Don't interfere. So the problem was not the establishment of public sector enterprise. The problem was somebody getting finicky about these things, not the entire ministry. Not everybody is bad all the time. But even if one phone call, one interference from ministry or department comes, your entire idea of making the PSE strong is hijacked. And for many times it was used for political purposes also, like before elections, increase the employment. Increase the employment just like that. Wow. So because of these problems and mismanagement, what happened is roughly around 1970s and 80s, the public sector of India started to become one by one loss making. These details we will see when we study. So in this phase, overall PSEs started to go down. This is the story of the phase. Now let's talk about phase 2. So please write phase 2, 2001 onwards. Phase second, 2001. Oh, sorry. Thank you for correcting. Phase second, 1991, obviously, correct. Phase second, 1991 onwards. Phase second, 1991 onwards. Now, tell me guys, what would happen in the phase second? In the phase second, what do you observe? Agriculture dependency on people, yes. Agriculture dependency on people reduced, remained same. Was it dynamic? Was it static? What happened? Reduced. And when things change substantially, when you can see the big change has happened, it is called dynamism. So this phase is very dynamic. Previous phase was static. So first sentence that we will write is this. Please write, this phase is dynamic. Very good. Rajan, Pawan, Ketan, very good. This phase is dynamic because the agriculture sector released labor force and many of them were absorbed in industries. Most of the workers, in the same paragraph, most of the workers in this phase, so which industry, that's important. Most of the workers in this phase were absorbed in construction, and that too, in the informal manner. So quality of employment was not high. So can I tell you one or 2 points related to it? Because this part also we have to study today itself, called labor laws. So there is a connection of this point and labor laws. Keep listening to the story, guys, so that you understand and absorb what actually happened. Look at the board, please. So here what happened is, everything was static, but when you come here, what happens in agriculture, population started to increase, because you know that population is static. So from here onwards, population increased. There was fragmentation of land, and people realized that beyond a certain point, if they stay in agriculture, nothing will happen. So people started to migrate and look for work opportunities. Where did the work opportunity come? In industries. In which sector? Mostly construction. And you understand that construction is a sector which doesn't give you necessarily permanent employment. So when you go in a construction site where buildings are being constructed, and if you have just come from agricultural field, rural area, and tell them, I want to work, the first question they will ask you, do you have the right skill? If you have the right skill, you become the supervisor or the engineer, civil engineer, designer, interior decorator, architect. But how can you have right skill? Because even today the skill level of India is less than 5%. Right? How can you have skill at that time? And remember, the number of institutes who train you in skills were not sufficient. So at that time, this was the biggest problem. So when people move directly out of agriculture, they don't possess the right skills because we failed to give it to them, as simple as that. So now they went to construction site, and how are they hired? They were hired as casual workers or informal workers. That okay, work for a week and then go. Work for 6 months leave, work for 3 months leave. And in between, if the people who were constructing the building, they didn't like you, they will tell you in 3-4 days only leave. And you ask them why. So they will tell you, because we found somebody better who can do this job better than you at lower cost. Oh, so wages were very low. Social security, almost negligible. Nothing, no social security for you. So the kind of employment that we started to generate was very questionable. That's number one. Number two, but why do you think that, okay, one is construction, I understand. But even some basic manufacturing also developed at this time. And the manufacturing sector which was developing, they also wanted to have casual workers, which is hire somebody for 2-3 months and then kick them out. Why? Why this tendency developed? 2-3 big reasons were there. I'll tell you one of the reasons. Immediately you'll say, oh, now we know. Okay. So let me tell you one of the reasons. Now imagine, guys, that you are having a great factory where, let's say 100-200 people are working. 100 people are working. Let's take a standard number 100. 100 workers are working in your factory. Because there were such factories. Example, Tata's only. So let's say that 100 people are working in the factory. Somebody from village comes and tells you that I also want to work. You tell them, okay, no problem. Come and work as a worker. You don't have skill, so I'll give you a manual job, which you can do physically, normally only. Now, after 2 months, you realize that you have got somebody better to do the same job with slightly better skill. So if you are the factory owner, you had only one vacancy, which you filled through by bringing somebody from the village. But now you are getting somebody better. So as a factory owner, what would you do? As a factory owner, your tendency will be to tell the person who has come from the village to leave by giving the salary and clearing the dues, and hire somebody better so that your product quality, etc. will improve. Now there are two sides to it. What happens to that person who just got employed from the village, because now he dependent on you and he planned his entire life around that work? All of a sudden he's jobless. The other side is, the factory says that if I don't do this, my product quality will never improve. Nobody will buy my product anyway. And anyway, I'll have to shut down my factory. So he is also right, he is also right. So government of India came in between and said that okay, there is a rule about labor laws. The rule is if there are 100 workers in a factory and if you want to fire somebody, you have to take permission of the central government. So the owner of the company has to take permission of the central government first. Without that permission, you cannot fire. And how many times were the permission given? 99.99% of the times permission was not given. Right? So slowly over a period of time, all the factory owners got to know that if we hire anybody, since we have 100 workers already, if you have less than 100 workers, then there is no problem. But all the big factories, because big factories hire more people. I gave you this data yesterday. They expand and they hire more people because they have more power, market power. They can sell their product, they can export their products. So now what happened is, and at that time, it was not mechanized, normal factories. So now the factories started to think, acha, you are forcing me to take permission and plus you are not giving me permission. So I will not hire that person on the payroll. I will not hire that person in terms of wages and salaries. I will hire that person in the nature of contract. So 3 months contract, work for me, otherwise leave. So in a contractual arrangement, since no social security, nothing, you don't need permissions. So what you do is hire somebody for a month, out, 1 month out, 1 month out. Population is huge. People are coming from agriculture field. See, people are released from agriculture. This system started. So the step which government took to empower the workers backfired. And now the factory started to say, why should I hire you permanently? Because if I want to fire you, if I want to replace you, I won't be able to do that. So I will not hire you at all. Right? So it's like saying that I won't marry because I know that divorce is not possible in this country. So I'll never marry. This used to happen. Don't take me wrong. This is just an example to understand. Right? I'm not talking about Salman Khan. So why the factories are saying we won't marry? Because government said divorce not allowed. That's why when I taught you startup, you remember what example I gave you? Marriage is easy, divorce is super easy. That became a big problem. You want to shut down, tell somebody please leave, easy. At that time, not easy. The first negative thing which happened, government was thinking in a positive way. The result was ulta. So that's the first thing. Second thing, now see there is another problem. The other problem is, how many times will I hire and fire workers for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months? I'm tired. I'm a factory owner. I feel, boss, I don't want to do this. Every time I hire somebody, fire somebody, I also feel bad. I don't want to do that. So what will I do? Let me find some machines who can replace the people. So government of India kept telling the factories that please become labor intensive, hire workers, and slowly and quietly the private companies of India, they started to say, let us bring more machines. So when I teach you 5-year plans, that day you will come to know, but I want to give you a hint. This system that I will hire less workers and buy more machines, for the first time, the industries created a lobby in India in 1980. And in 1980 only they told the government of India, because they were suffering all this while. So they told the government of India in 1980, government, just one permission please. Allow us to import machines from foreign countries. Many industries created a lobby. So what did the government of India do in 1980? They opened the economy for some time. They opened it up and they said, okay, bring machines. They had no idea why these machines were being brought. They thought it is for technological innovation. But the problem was something else, because with one hand, the government was putting the hand on the neck of the factory saying, dare you move without my permission? So factory said, okay, can you shift this little side? And let us bring the machines. Government said, how innocent the factories are. Yeah, bring machines, bring machines. And the government had no idea that these machines are going to substitute the workers. So actually technological unemployment started from that time only. So then the factories started to remove the workers one by one. And here, when reforms happened in India, when economy opened up, blatantly the factories started to say, why should I hire you? Because I have the machines now. So this system, so either construction, and construction was hiring just casual workers, or capital, which means machines or technology, basic technology replaced labor, which is called technological unemployment. These two things happened. And in services, you remember I told you a phase in India, the IT boom phase. So IT, transportation, majorly. These two things developed in India at that time, but there is a problem. So see, what did I write? IT and transportation. This is important, guys. Very few people understand this in this sequence. You will be a rare breed of students if you can memorize this for the exam. I'm telling you this. And examiners would just love you. The reason being that if they ask you this question or jobless growth, usme if you write these things, no, without politics, you will be rewarded so high. Don't take the name of any politicians, no political party, nothing from your PSI or optional, nothing from hardcore economics. Keep it neutral and keep it only economics oriented. You will get very good marks. Because examiners want to see policy makers, they don't want to see revolutionaries. Because then there will be a problem, right? So if you want to become revolutionary, after you qualify, then you become revolutionary. But don't show it on paper. Don't show it in the interview. Keep it inside. And then tell them, select me, I'll show you. Right? So, but verbally, nothing. Just tell me, select me, sir. So now that's it. So what happened here? Last point. Then services, which service developed? IT services and transportation services. Wow, there's a problem. Because IT has a limitation. Because beyond a point, IT cannot give you jobs. Why? One computer, one person. One computer cannot have 20 people. It's not cyber cafe. So one person, one computer. That's it. IT, Infosys. Infosys, our building has computer. 10,000 is the capacity of the office. How can 50,000 people work? So that's one of the problems with IT. Which means, where did we miss out? Service was good, but we missed out on services. Why? Ab dhyan suna bachcho, what happened? So suppose India opened IT. What happened because of IT? The people who got placed in IT are highly skilled. But people who are getting released from agriculture do not have the skill. The people who in IT, people who are from urban areas who have decent skill set, who are trained in these things in engineering colleges. But what about the people from here? Left out. First, discrimination happened there. Second, the IT sector started to pay good wages compared to the casual workers. The IT people are getting good salary. Now, when you are getting good salary, you start to demand quite a lot of things. But what are the things that you will demand? Items of daily use is fine, but you will also demand high funda items now. You will demand air conditioners and all this, And where do you produce all these products? In big factories. And I told you what is the tendency of big factories? To hire less workers or to hire casual workers. So now it became a cycle. Some elite class got developed in India, the middle class and the elite class, they started to demand specific products, and those products were manufactured in factories, either casual worker or more machines. Next problem that happened in the field of service sector is this. Service sector is giving me very good wage. I am a coder, I am a programmer, I am getting very good salary, and when I create a software, it is exported. So what happened? Service sector started to contribute a lot in India's GDP. So GDP is rising now, rising very fast. But I'm the only one who is writing the codes in my laptop. There is nobody else who is helping me. I don't need help. I'm super productive. So I'm giving very high GDP to India as an individual or as a group of few people. Which means employment is not happening necessarily. New employment is not required. Same person can write awesome codes. Sundar Pichai. He's one-man army. He's one-man institution. People like them. So I have one computer. I'm just doing the code. Tuck. That's it. I create software. Software exported. Money received. India's GDP very high. But employment did not increase. You don't need more employment. One computer, one person, good enough. Where did we miss out on services? There is a specific kind of service which creates huge employment. That service is transportation, education, yes, tourism, but mostly these. Why health, education and transportation could not develop a lot? Infrastructure is required. Without road, what is the meaning of transportation? We never spent money in roads because we said, don't have money. So not every part of India was having roads, which means we did not pay attention to this because this required more government intervention. And government said, I'm slightly tight on funds. And when the government started to think, let me do something for this country, global financial crisis happened 2007. And then we became more conservative. At this point of time, no, government actually wanted to do something here at this point of time. And I'll teach you this today itself. So around, let's say, 2007, when the global financial crisis happened, roughly around 1999, listen to it carefully, here, around 1999, the government of India actually said that let us develop transportation, education and health. And they also started the work. But then within a few years, problems started to happen and the global economy became volatile. And by 2007, world economy crashed. And our whole dream of having these three sectors gone. So now what is the result? End result of this summarized discussion. The end result of this summarized discussion is in this phase, agriculture is releasing workers, but agriculture is not getting, enough of productivity either. It is getting some machines after green revolution, but because the land size is small, so there is no revolution in agriculture, so as to say, land size is small. So people are leaving agriculture thinking for a better future. When they come here, they realize that, wow, the industries are hiring me as casual worker, no permanent job. And over a period of time, even casual worker is gone because industries started to bring more machines. And over a period of time in the field of agriculture, the big landlords, they started to use more tractors, more modern technology, and whatever small workers were working in their agricultural field replaced. So mechanization happened here in the rich farmers' land, the big landlords. Capital intensive technology mechanization happened here. Now there is an army of workers who are neither here nor here. They became urban poor. So neither can you go back nor can you work here. You are stuck. There starts your slum development in the urban areas. So in field of services, IT boom happened, but IT cannot absorb workers beyond the limit. These things never developed. So what is the picture you are getting? Too many people, too few jobs. But GDP will be very high. Why? Because these industries are also producing items for your elite class, so as to say the middle class and the elite class. And plus services, you have a boom in IT which is being exported. So your GDP is rising, export is rising to an extent, not great, but to an extent, decent development. And your middle class is absorbing a lot of goods. So your GDP will be high because the people who are in IT service, they will buy laptops, they will buy mobile phones, they will buy cars, they will buy house. One person will buy 5 houses, no problem. So GDP will be high, but of unemployed who is waiting in the urban slum saying, where do I go? Jobless growth. That's the birth of jobless growth. And what happened to women in this entire story? We forgot them. Yeah, actually, that's the reason I'm using this expression. We forgot them. Because if you look at the this time, patriarchal society, when you look at men, when they are leaving their house, they are going to urban areas for jobs, men will leave the house first, no. So when men leave, they become urban slum dwellers. Where are women? In the village itself. Are they working in the zamindar's land? No, they are replaced. Because the zamindars are saying that, no, you are a girl, you are a woman, your physical capacity to work like men is not there. I am replacing you by tractors. So women is being replaced here with machines. The men has gone and become urban poor. Now women can neither work in agriculture nor she can leave the village because there are parents and family care economy. There is a small child, there are grandparents, there are seniors in the family, stuck and no skill. Because if men have less than 5% skill, imagine the skill that we imparted to women in that phase. We don't want to spend money in the girls' child education, etc. We are very conservative in that. So that conservatism, etc. started to play. So now what will happen? Men out, women could never enter the work field. This was that phase. Very, very disturbing kind of phase. So are you getting the picture? Let's write. I'll teach you more, don't worry. Please write first. That in this phase, what did we write? Sorry. Oh, we already wrote something. Absorption that to in the informal. So quality of employment was not very high. Thank you. Now change the paragraph, guys, and please write. The service sector slowly started to develop. The service sector slowly started to develop, especially the IT, trade and transport, especially the IT, trade and transport. Even in, please put a full stop and write, service sector, we missed out on developing health, and education related services, health and education related services, which create more jobs, which create more jobs, which create more jobs. Please put a full stop. By the way, can I ask you one thing before we proceed? That are you able to put these stories in a framework in the mind? Okay, this is how India was progressing, minus politics. So if you are able to fit this, no, your prelims, your interview, your mains. By the way, we are doing NCRT. So if this came to your mind that when are we going to do NCRT? We are already doing NCRT since yesterday. Without telling you, we are doing standard 11th India's economic development in the class, already happening. So slowly you will see that, see, everything is not there in NCRT, like trade is not there in NCRT. Proper industry is not there in NCRT. So how could I do it from there? Whatever is there in NCRT, we are already doing it. So yesterday we did a lot of economic survey, let me tell you this. Today we are doing a lot of NCRT, and within next 15, we will jump into newspaper and economic survey again, and a lot of various places. So which means that thing which I find very difficult, if somebody comes to me and asks me, normally casually while walking, where do I economics from? Do I say? Because I am studying economics for UPSC. See, I behave as if I am preparing for the exam. So I am studying 20 sources. And every source is giving me one paragraph relevant for the exam. Now, it's not possible, like within a short span of time for anybody to do it. Yes, if you are free, you can do it. Like you don't have any other work. But you have so many work. You have so much of work. You have to do your optional GS, CSAT. You have to do essay writing, answer writing. Kaise karoge? So that's the reason that if you do it in a structured manner like this, no, then you know, okay, I don't need to do NCRT. So please don't do NCRT separately. If you do it, you will find the same thing, and it will be a wastage of your time. So people will tell you, when will you do NCRT? So in your mind, you should understand, I'm already doing it. And I assess that we are already doing. That's from NCRT, classic. So now, guys, what did we do for GS purposes? Without wasting our time, we found that, and I have already created a handout, by the way. Handout yesterday I finalized, but I'll give you the handout when you write the test on this topic. So that handout will be your gift. So what did I put in the handout? Listen to it carefully, please. In your handout, I have put this year, this data, then I have put this data, and then I have put this data. Only three. Only three you have to remember for the exam. That's it. Using these three, you can write your entire answer. The remaining part is just for fun, just to see it in the class. So in UPSC, when you get the question, if you memorize 1, 2, 3, even if you don't memorize, no problem. But if you memorize these three, great. UPSC will say 0.5 marks extra. If you are not memorizing, sacrifice that 0.5 marks, but write the other parts. So this is how you have to write the answer. And what paragraph will you write? Phase 1, phase 2, and done. Now, please see this. This is your next part. So please write, discuss jobless growth. The most important question from this topic, discuss jobless growth. Yes, next question, discuss jobless growth. When did India experience it? When did India experience it? Look at the question, when did India experience it? Same question, next point, same question, continue. What are the causes? What are the causes? And remedy. That's one question, guys. It has been asked in UPSC. In that one question, entire history, geography of India asked. How many things are being asked there? What is jobless growth? That's first question. In the same question, then the second part of the question says which phase. Precisely they asked the phase that when did India suffer from it. So you cannot write a roundabout answer. You have to precisely mention which year. And if you make a mistake in mentioning the number of years, etc., gone. Then they will not even check your answer. This is the difficulty here. And number 3, cause and remedy. This is a UPSC question directly asked in UPSC. So, and how many pages did they give us to write this answer? 2 pages, not 3 pages. They gave us 2 pages to write this answer. This is up now you write 10 marks. So that's the problem, right? So let's prepare it in such a way that if they ask it in 3 pages, 15 marks we can write, in 10 marks also we can write. What is jobless growth? So let's first write the formula. So let's start to make notes. Please write meaning of jobless growth. And I know that you are my kids, you will easily give the answer. So jobless growth is equal to no, you don't need to. I already told you that if you write the data for 1951, 91 and 2021, it's great. If you don't write the data, then also it's great. But I have created a handout for you where I have already mentioned the data, which I'll provide you. So come back, guys. What is jobless growth? So there are two terms, jobless and growth. So according to you, if I ask you a simple question, under jobless growth, what is that one thing which is compulsory, which will definitely happen? Is right. What will happen? Guys, to my online students, guys, kids, come on. Under jobless growth, one thing is confirmed. Growth. Hey, the name is jobless growth. This is compulsory. Absolutely correct. So in the formula of GDP, in the formula of jobless growth, the first component will be high GDP. Without doubt. Because it says growth. How can joblessness happen without growth? Then it will not be jobless growth. So for jobless growth, this part is the compulsory. So we'll write. Yes. High GDP growth. Well, every year GDP is growing. Every year it is higher than previous year. So good answer. Good common sense. Nice. What's the other part? Okay. No. So you have to be logical, huh? So how do we logically argue? It says jobless. So let's take the word job. And let's write jobs. In jobs, the first scenario could be, it's social science. Had it been physics, I would have told you that, alpha is equal to this, beta is equal to this. Everything is fixed. Alpha plus beta is 1. That's social science. Things don't add up all the time. So what is the meaning of jobless growth? Meaning of jobless growth is GDP will be high, but jobs can be either stagnant, which means it's not increasing, it's not decreasing, almost getting stuck. Last year 10 jobs created, this year same. Nothing new happening. That's the first interpretation, stagnancy. Second, very low growth in jobs, which means job opportunities are growing at a very low pace. Like if GDP is rising by 10%, jobs are rising by one new job every year, 0.0001%. Very low rate of growth of jobs. Job opportunities are created. One job in entire Delhi. That's second. Third, job opportunities going down. So many a times technology replaces you. GDP will rise, but you have been kicked out by artificial intelligence and robots. Obviously growth has happened, but job gone. So there are three parts of jobless growth. The first is stagnancy. The second is very low rate of growth of job, right? So stagnancy means almost in a range. Low rate of growth, yes, it is rising like this little bit. And here it's going down. So it's declining. This is job opportunities declining. Job opportunities declining. Now imagine in your UPSC answer, if you are simply writing that GDP is rising whereas job opportunities are not rising. The moment they read this answer, they'll say, okay, good. Prepare next year. That's the problem. So whenever you read these kind of things, guys, that's why these are technical things. It has to be understood like this. That is social science. Always remember social sciences. Things don't add up. So how do you write these kind of answers? Just look at the word logically and think in your mind like a policy maker that is it practically possible that zero job opportunities will be created in an economy? Practically, it is not possible. So stagnancy would mean that it's in a range. that every year 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 jobs. That's not good. In every exam, in every mock test, I'm writing 40 mock tests. Every mock test, I'm getting 30%. That's very bad. But in one mock test, 30, 30, 30, 1, 2, 3, but in one mock test, 31%. Awesome. That shows progress. I'm not saying get 90%, but 30 should become 31. 31 should become 32. So either it is this, or what is this? Very low. That's very bad. Again, very bad. It's very low. And again, job opportunities are declining. This is the worst. This is very deadly. So now I'll come to you. Just hold on. So this is very deadly. This is very bad. So how will you define jobless growth? Please write first. Jobless growth is a situation. Jobless growth is a situation where the GDP in the country is rising at a relatively high pace. GDP in the country is rising at a relatively high pace, whereas jobs are either stagnant, whereas jobs are either stagnant, comma, or growing at extremely low pace, or the job opportunities are declining. Job opportunities are declining. Yes, what do you want to ask? Tell me, please. 100%. That's our next point. So yesterday we were doing something called as employment elasticity. You remember? That's why I was telling you one thing repeatedly abhi in last 5 minutes, that suppose that the rate of growth of GDP is 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, you are rising. But the jobs are rising by one new job in Delhi, just one new job in, let's say, somewhere else in India, like Bengal one job, Gujarat one job, Bangalore one job. That's not a good thing. So how do we capture this? Now let's go back and study something which we did last time. Achha, by the way, just 1 second. Now are you realizing one more thing, that simple hard work where you study something saying that, yeah, jobless growth is, India is not having good jobs, will not fetch marks in the exam. So when you prepare these lectures with me, when you are attending the lectures, make sure that when I take answer writing session with you, take it seriously. Do come in the answer writing session, because in those sessions, these are the things that we focus. Ultimately, you are attending the lecture for this only. Because anybody can give you the answer what is jobless growth, but not everybody can tell you how to write it for UPSC kind of exam. It's different. This exam is little different. It is selecting policy makers who will make policies for each of these 3 points in India. So that's why UPSC wants these 3 points from you, not because they are trying to kick you out. The way UPSC is conducting exam, UPSC says, tomorrow these are my future brains who will make policies to take India out of this. This is called bad equilibrium. So when I teach you BOP, etc., you will realize at that time, oh, there is something called equilibrium. I'll teach you microeconomics, demand supply. There you will understand, oh, this is bad equilibrium. So that's why you need to attend those answer writing sessions, which I'm going to again take very soon. And I request my students who have just joined that if you can't revise other topics, at least revise the employment topic, like 3-4 lectures, and come prepared in the class. You'll feel very good. Okay? So let's go back and study the elasticity without wasting time. Look at it, please. No, we will not say that. One of our friends is saying that, can we say in phase 2 people started to migrate to Middle East countries for labor work? Yes, but if you look at the percentage of migrants, that's very minuscule. We are a planet, I told you. So whenever I crack these kind of, silly things, silly jokes in the class, so as to say, they are not jokes, by the way. So whenever I speak these silly things that India is a planet, there is always a reason. India is a planet, which means even if 1 lakh people go out of India to some country to work, it hardly matters. 1 lakh will go to some country to work, 5 lakhs will come from the border areas inside us. So eventually things balance out. So India does not worry about them, right? Always worry. India doesn't care. India says 1 crore people out, 5 crore people in. So it's fine, no problem. Today we are 143 crore. I told you, God willing, by the time we complete the syllabus, 150 crore. Target is set. Now see this, guys, on a lighter note, of course. So don't tell about these things to anybody. People will stop coming to the class. ये सब क्या पढ़ रहे हैं? What are we studying? Employment trend in India, बच्चों. Without wasting time, have a look at it, please. In a very precise manner, we have to write these things. See, 1972 to 1983. What is the rate of growth of GDP? 4.7%. I'll tell you something new here, okay? And this diagram, with this graph that you see, we'll use it in our mains answer. I'll show you one by one. Just give me 15 minutes, I'll explain this entire thing. Now see, 72 to 83. Keep feeding this story in your mind. When we got independence, no. After that, the biggest problem in India was, and please try to connect, the biggest problem in India was hunger, malnutrition. People were dying because of lack of food at that time, when we got independent. And the government of India knew that unless we revive agriculture, nothing will happen. So the first 5-year plan focused on agriculture. And then we started to focus on industries. But then there is one more problem which needs to be tackled. People did not have even basic necessities of life. Food, clothing, water, shelter, everything was missing. So what did I tell you when I taught you data class? So even if you are new to the class, I'm going to speak one sentence that should help you to understand. So roughly around in early 1970s, the government of India made a 20-point program. So this I taught in the data class. In the 20-point program, the government of India, which we wrote today, in the 20-point program, the government of India said, these are the 20 things I want to provide to society. Healthcare, education, roads, electricity, water, all these things, right? Good program, I would appreciate. And then the government of India said that, see, one time I can provide, 2 times I can provide, but whole life I cannot. Capacity building has to be done parallelly. So at that time, Dr. Amartya Sen was also very active in the policy making. So yes, so early 1970s, the government of India started to think that how to do capacity building. So one of the good things that we can do is give them water, food, electricity, subsidy, everything, and then start giving them some basic training, some basic skill like plumbing, carpentry, something, so that they can also get jobs. So government of India started to provide some jobs to the people at low skill level also, saying that, okay, I have promised people that I'll give them house. In the house construction, I'm appointing you. Oh, wow. So some form of Manarega kind of concept. So then the government of India said, I'm going to give you electricity. For electricity connection, I need 20 workers hired. So what did the government of India do? And then those people who used to say, no, I don't want to work in electricity and all, government said, chalo, I'll train you so that you can indulge in self-employment also through self-help groups. So for example, government of India used to promote like 20 people coming together, and government used to say, I will give you money. You 20 people start making baskets and then sell it. This type of push by the government of India was going on parallelly to 20-point program. So on one hand, 20-point program where basic necessities of life are being provided, and parallelly the government of India was trying to create employment opportunities through government subsidies, through government expenditure. These days, how is the employment being created? Government says, I will only train you, number one, skill. Obviously, less than 5% what training, number one. Number two, these days the government of India is saying that I will give you cash so that you can create startups. This is good. So here, today the idea is different. Government is saying, I give you loan, I'll give you some help, I'll give you training, you create jobs. You become the job creator. At that time, government of India was saying that I want to be the job creator, I will create jobs. So the difference from I to you. So in this phase, 1972 to 83, the government of India started some classic programs, right, where the government of India was putting a lot of money to create employment, especially in rural areas. So, for example, NREP, National Rural Employment Program. This is one such example. IRDP, Integrated Rural Development Program. These are all rural job opportunities which government was creating. In its own project, government was hiring people, giving money, training them. And all these works that the government was doing was labor intensive. So totally government efforts, cash by the government, and government said, I will create job opportunities. So this phase was okay. And in this phase, what used to happen? See, look carefully. In this phase, your GDP is this. Employment growth rate is 2.4%. Why? Because the employment opportunity was created by the government fund. Government spent the money. And what is employment elasticity? The formula of employment elasticity is, if you take out your calculator for a minute, take out a calculator, guys, immediately without wasting time. Please take out your calculator, means mobile phone, obviously. Today, mobile phone is everything. A lot of emotions captured inside the mobile phone, right? Not happy? All good? Okay, fine, it's okay. Then don't switch it on. Good. So, look at this employment elasticity. What is the formula of employment elasticity? So, whatever is there, no, 2.4, you keep it in the numerator, 2.4, and then you divide it with 4.7. Yes. 0.5. Oh, 0.5. Wow. So what is the formula of employment elasticity? The formula of employment elasticity is change in rate of growth of employment. So that's your rate of growth of employment upon rate of growth of GDP. That's your employment elasticity. So take the rate of growth of employment here, rate of growth of GDP here. How do you interpret this? You interpret it like this. Keep listening to it, you will enjoy this. So how do you interpret such a formula? You interpret it mathematically by saying that if my GDP, if my GDP rises by 1%, right, 1 rupee, 1%, what will be the percentage rise in employment opportunities? So GDP is rising by 1%, employment opportunities are rising by 0.5%. That's good. That's very good. At least GDP is rising by this, employment is rising by half. For a developing country, it's decent. So at this point of time, this employment elasticity is good, and higher the employment elasticity, good for the economy. So now look at the second one. Here, 1983-84, same concept. Because here also government was pumping a lot of money, 20-point program. A lot of money was being, so again 2%, decent. I would say decent. But then the problem started. Why? Because roughly around 1990, 1991, that was a phase when crisis happened in India. Acha guys, tell me one thing. Suppose that you are talking to somebody on everyday basis. Quickly, you are talking to somebody on everyday basis, let's say since last 5-6 years, etc. And one day the person blocks you immediately. Will you even realize that you have been blocked? You won't believe it. It will take time. It will take time to sink in. First you will think your phone is not working, something is wrong. Maybe SIM card is not working. Maybe that company who is giving the mobile network is again engaged in marriage function. So maybe signal disruption has happened. Something has happened. Maybe Hindenburg has released a new report related to a new company. So something has happened, right? You won't believe. It takes time to sink in. So the effect of that block, so that blocking behavior by the party will start to come to you. Your friend is saying, I have experienced it. So sorry to hear. So the experience of that starts to come in after 4-5 days. Then you start to feel that, oh, it hits you. What has happened to me? Right? How did that happen? And then you start to sulk. That God, why me? Why not my friend? Oh, sorry. Right? Because that person was your friend actually. Right? So that is what happened to India. Look at this, guys. This is 1983 to 1994. Growth is fine. Employment generation is also fine. But the moment crisis happened, no, slowly when all the companies of India got hit with crisis, then started the problem. They started to say first reaction of a crisis is no new hirings. The hiring starts to come down first whenever you are hit by crisis. And when we were hit by crisis, the first thing that happened is companies said, no, we will not hire as many people as we were hiring. First of all, hiring goes down. Number two, the government comes with a help. IMF gives us cash and the government of India takes the cash and starts to help various sectors. So artificially government is giving money now to various sectors. Take money, take money, take money. I want to help you. So what will happen because of that? See, around 1994, your GDP is high because government is artificially helping you, but you are not creating as many jobs as you were creating earlier. So why is GDP high? Because during crisis, base effect, during crisis you go boom, zero. Nothing is working. Factory shut. Nothing is going in your way. So you are here. And then the government comes and gives you cash. What did I tell you? When you start with a low base, little bit cash also, percentage jumps look very high. So during crisis, boom, little cash, jump. That's your jump. So 6.3%. After COVID also, during COVID what happened? We sunk in. So artificially government gave cash. GDP rate of growth 7.3%. And India was flaunting it was 7.3. And our neighbor said, base effect. India said, sorry, network problem, I can't hear you. Right? So 6.3, 1.8. Now look at employment elasticity. Gone. For the first time, big dip. This is the phase which started to hurt us. Immediately, Government of India thought of a plan. What is the plan? See this, guys. This is 94 to 2004. When this employment was going down, exactly in the year 1999. See, this is big phase, 1994 to 2004. So 94, 91 to 94, we were hit. That crisis has happened, what to do? And Government of India was taking money from IMF and helping the industries. So industry was trying to revive itself. But then money was there in the hand of industries, but jobs were not created. So 1999 government comes up with a brilliant plan. You go and Google, you will find it. I won't take the name of ministers, parties, etc. So 1999, what is the plan by government? Think about it, guys, rationally. 1999, the Government of India says, I want to construct roads. Oh, roads. Because if you construct road, what will happen? See, money will not increase immediately. Jobs will increase. Because construction of the road requires a lot of people. So it's not that through road automatically GDP will rise in one day. It takes time. But jobs will happen. So government started to make plans. No, north of India, south of India, east, west, central India, everywhere roads, bridges, railway stations. Crazy infrastructure projects were launched. And what is the duration of every infrastructure for big projects? Golden quadrilateral, this quadrilateral will be made strong, that quadrilateral will be made strong. Big plans were made. So, Government of India said, I'm going to connect Delhi with Mumbai, Mumbai with Chennai, Chennai with Bengal, Bengal with this. All these big things. Yes, all these big things started. Now, you understand that when you start these kind of big projects, you need more money, you need more capital, you need technology, you need workers. So, what did these companies do? This is magic. What did the companies do? See, that's bank. That's your company who constructs roads and bridges. This company went to bank. Which year I am talking about? 1999. Right? And who gave money to this company and courage to the company that please go ahead? Government. Remember IMF cash. We were helping this company and telling them, hey, go to bank. I am helping you a little bit, but you go to bank now. So this company went to bank and told the bank, I am going to make big roads in India, huge national highways, and I need money for 10 years. Because the project will take 10 years. Immediately bank said, okay, crores of rupees released, cash released, loan. And what is the rate of interest? 6%. Now this company starts to construct the roads. Road construction started 1999. So 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2001 to boom, IT boom. Oh, everybody's happy. Yes, boom. 2003, 2004. Change of government. When the new government comes in, the first problem that the new government realized was rising oil prices. Global oil prices increased. When oil price is rising, your operations cost of running machines, trucks goes up. Price of energy goes up. So around 2004, the story is oil prices rose. When oil price rises, inflation happens. Food also becomes costly. Why? Food is transported through trucks. Truck is using oil. Oil is costly. So what happened here? In 2004, inflation happened, that's first. Achha, when inflation happens, price rises, price of cement will also rise. Because cement also moves through trucks. And truck is using petrol and diesel. So price of cement, iron, steel, everything increased because of inflation. Which means cost of production of infrastructure, cost of construction of infrastructure increased. So earlier, how much money was taken by this company? 10,000 crores. 10,000 crore was the loan this company took from bank, thinking everything is fine. But then 2004, inflation hits you. There is a change of government. When the new government comes, it says, hold on. I want to check your files. Files are being checked. And now the new government says, boss, you have violated environmental clearance rules. I can see you have forced somebody to sign the files and say that quick environmental clearances. Sorry, I'm cancelling your deal. So he says, how can you cancel the deal? Deal is never by a political party, it is by the government. So government says, yeah, so I'm suspending you. Because I need to check whether your project is as per the environmental rules and standards or not. So suspended, not cancelled, suspended. So now this company is saying, how can you suspend me? The work is going on. So Ministry of Environment and Forest says, no, the environmental rule supersedes every other rule. Because we are also bound by international obligations. So it supersedes every other rule. So sorry, suspended. So this company says, hold on, how do I pay salary to my workers? So government says, not my problem. So he says, how will I pay EMI to them? Government says, not my problem. So now files stuck. So what happens for the first time, this company, see this arrow, repayment means EMI. For the first time, EMI default happens. And when the EMI default happens, the bank says, what happened to my money? So this company said, file stuck. So am I saying that there is corruption here? Not necessarily. Am I saying that maybe some violation of rules? Maybe. I don't know. How do I know? I was not working in the ministry. And why would textbooks tell me the right things? In fact, will any textbook dare to write these things? Obviously not. Will NCERT write it? No. And do I trust newspapers? Because newspapers will take the name of ministry's minister. No, I will not. Because I don't know if actually there was corruption or seriously there was some violation of environmental rules. So we should not be biased against anybody, etc. So what should we, that's why I tell you that, be just neutral. So your life will be cool. Why to blame somebody? So this used to happen. EMIs were completely missed. Now this bank is saying, hey, wait, this is an NPA problem. I'll teach you NPA. NPA means non-performing assets. When you don't pay the EMI for bank, the health of the bank deteriorates because this is bank's earning. Now bank is saying, what do I do? So this company says, what do I do? Government says, what do I do? Finished. So by the year 2004, 2005, this system started, and then you can see what happened in India. Look at this. By this phase, jobs and this. So infrastructure sector finished. Which is the only sector which was normally going on? Service. Because in service, this thing didn't happen. And IT boom already happened in 2000. And I told you, IT is exporting a lot of softwares across the world. So money is coming to India. That's your money. That's money from services, exports. And which export? Service exports only. That's your money. That's your job. That's your elasticity. Because who gives more jobs? Not services, but transportation, infrastructure. And infrastructure is going down now. Which is, what is the problem? New investment in infrastructure not happening. Birth of jobless growth. That's the beginning of jobless growth in India. So now what happened? A beautiful concept. Now this company, around the year 2011, this company goes to the bank, and this company tells the bank that, Mr. Bank, this is year 2011. This drama started in 2004. And then in between, global financial crisis also happened in 2007. They got impacted. In global financial crisis, they also got impacted, they also got impacted. Finally, officially, as per Government of India, by 2011, we were about to come out of global financial crisis. So in 2011, this company goes to bank and says, bank, just one request. My environmental files have been cleared. Oh. So this company tells the bank that, bank, I have got the clearance, everything is fine, the government has agreed. Can you give me more funds? Bank says, why? So he says, because earlier the 10,000 crore you gave me for road construction, this road construction. So now since inflation has happened, the prices have increased, cement has become costly, iron has become costly, 10,000 crore won't help. I need 30,000 crores. If you read newspaper, you will read it that roughly after 2010, the inflation in India was very high. So 30,000 crore required. You just gave me 10, I need 20 more. So this bank said, wait. You are not returning the EMIs and you are saying I should give you more loans. So this company convinced the bank by saying that if you don't give me new loan, then this entire 10,000 crore is gone. You relax, then it's gone. And I will tell the government that I am bankrupt. Matlab, I can't pay the money back. And I will go to foreign country like London, I'll settle down there. So you have only one option. You give me more money so that I can complete the road. When the road is complete, I'll get profit and return your money. Now the bank, without asking the Government of India, went ahead and gave the money. So when you have not returned the previous loan and the bank gives you new loan to return the previous loan, this is called as evergreening of loans. So first loan given, it has not come back. New loan given so that the previous loan can be returned. So evergreening of loan happened. And then what happened? This company started a road project. This time, some of the state government raised the objection and said, hold on. Because we feel that land is not available for this project. Because your road that you have planned is going through a tribal area or ecologically sensitive zone. So earlier center used to stop, now states are stopping. And then the states are saying, rehabilitation rules, please. Because if you replace somebody, if you displace a particular population, you have to make sure that you have to do the rehab. And for rehab, you need some land so that you can resettle the people also, create residential complex for them. So this is also a problem. And RBI was not knowing about this as per RBI, that evergreening of loan was. So RBI says, I had less idea. For the first time, around 2010, 10-11, somebody told RBI that something is happening in India. RBI said, let me check. And Dr. Rajan for the first time called all the banks in a meeting and said that, hey banks, I have heard something is happening in India like this. Banks said, no sir, nothing is happening. RBI said, I'm launching something called as Asset Quality Review, AQR. Immediately you have to bring all the data that is there in your bank and I want to check. And Dr. Rajan gave 1 year to all the banks and said that within 1 year, if the banks, all of you banks in India, if you don't produce your papers about which loan have you given in last 20 years and which loan is currently going on, I will cancel your license for the first time. And the moment the banks presented their data, everybody's heart skipped a beat. Because the data which came in front of Dr. Rajan and entire India was wow. So in the hindsight, without telling to RBI, you are giving loan to the same party 3 times, 4 times. Why? Thinking that my current loan will make the parties more profitable so that they can return the previous loan. But this is a cycle which will never end. So if somebody will ask you a question, in fact, not somebody, but I will ask you a question when I start teaching you banking. That's why I'm elaborately teaching you this now, because I have to teach you entire syllabus. So I know that one day I will teach you banks also in the class very soon. That day, when I ask you a question in the class that what is that year where you see the birth of NPA problems in India, because I will teach you NPA in great details. What is the birth of NPA in India? That's 2004. No, 2004 actually it started, because 2004 was the first time loan was given. But if you want to precisely ask, so for the first time the default started during global financial crisis, 2007. So the real problem started from 2007, 2011. Everybody knew that there is NPA problem in India. So you cannot blame somebody entirely, because 2007 global financial crisis was not our fault. Oil price rising was not our fault. So you cannot blame somebody directly. But one good thing that you can attribute to Dr. Rajan was that because of his smartness and IQ, he could sense something must be wrong, because he was seeing a lot of transactions. And he was understanding that we have just come out of global financial crisis. How is it possible banks are giving so much money? From where are they getting the money? Because I never printed the notes, extra notes. So that is the reason that he called all the banks and said that I want to see. And why was RBI missing all the points all this while? 2004 RBI did not understand. 5, 6, 7, 8, why? It was not digitized. Currently the entire transaction of banks, every record of bank is digitized, called as core banking solution. Initially, there was nothing called core banking solution. It was in the development phase. So at that time, we missed out because it was not digitized. So when Dr. Rajan was there, what is the first thing he did? He said, Pele, I want to see the records. After seeing the record, he said, now core banking solution and system has to be made strong, so that these type of things don't happen in future. And by the time he was about to do these things as RBI governor, he was released. And then came his best friend, Dr. Urijit Patel. So when I teach you monetary policy, etc., I'll tell you that Dr. Rajan and Dr. Patel, I think these are the two geniuses that India has produced in the field of banking. So Dr. Urijit Patel also carried on with the same legacy, did an amazing work that we'll study in banking. And when Dr. Patel resigned, some problems happened. And then Dr. Shaktikant Das took over, your senior IS officer from history background. and he becomes the best governor of central bank in the world. He wins awards. Every year he is winning the award. And for the first time, Dr. Rajan praised somebody sitting in USA and said that, according to me, the best central bank governor in the world currently is Dr. Shaktikant Das. So that laurel came to one of your seniors from history background. So that's why they say that UPSC is the biggest leveler. It levels everything. It doesn't matter what your background is. You can be a better economist than a person who has spent 40 years of his life in studying economics. So the only person I told you that Dr. Rajan has praised is Dr. Shaktikant Das. And why? Because entire Indian payment system became digital under his supervision. And he discovered, he got some new things called as standing deposit facility, etc. During turbulent times, when the world was suffering, Dr. Shaktikant Das selected the right team. Because the hallmark of a great leader is not that they understand repo rate. If you ask Dr. Shaktikant Das, I'll tell you a very funny thing. I should not be saying this. So Dr. Shaktikant Das 3 years back gave a speech in St. Stephen's College because he is a graduate from St. Stephen's Delhi University. He was giving a speech and he gave a wrong definition of repo rate. And there was a stunning silence in the auditorium. He went on explaining the wrong definition. But then the point is, people who are wise, they understand something, that as RBI governor or as leaders of this country, it's not important that you should know every formula and every XYZ. What you should know is how to select the right people who knows what is repo rate. So that's what the leaders do. So tomorrow you are going to be the leader. So you should have a rough idea of everything. But currently you should have a good idea so that you crack the exam. Later on, even if you have just rough idea, okay, repo rate means something like this, it's okay. Because in future, your job will be to select the right people that, okay, let me select Dr. Ram Singh, who can give me idea about inflation. Let me select Professor Dholakia from IIM Ahmedabad, who can give me idea about finance. This is what you will do in future. Okay? So that's why you should not be very obsessed with these things. But currently, yes, you should understand a few things, but keep in mind that in future, I have to select the right people. Isliye, when you have more friends in life, you talk to many people, don't feel that people are bad, I should not make friends. Come on, make friends, no problem. So that you also understand people. So देखो, this is the history of India's NPA problem which started in India, right? So let's come back. Abhi ye sab dictation I have to provide you. Now imagine what happened here in this phase. So, so now see. So in this phase, see, 2004 to 11, 11 to 21. Look at this GDP. Look at this jobs. Have a look at this. So when somebody becomes very political in nature, I'll tell you what's the disadvantage of being political in nature. If you become more politically inclined, you will say that this government failed. And this government is doing well because of GDP. Then I'll ask you this question, why this? Then you will realize that economy is behaving almost in the same manner. So it's never about politics. Which means there are some fundamental things which we have to correct. So get away from politics. All okay? Please write. So did I give you any definition of elasticity, employment? No? Let's write a few things. Likhe. Some basic tools to understand. This is extra part. Some basic tools to understand jobless growth. Some basic tools to understand jobless growth. It is important for prelims, okay? The tools. Some tools to understand jobless growth. Number one, you just have to write some important tools to understand jobless growth. Number one, employment elasticity. Employment elasticity. Please write. It shows the responsiveness of employment generation. It shows the responsiveness of employment generation due to changes in GDP. In other words, it shows the percentage change in employment. In other words, it shows the pace change in employment with 1% change in GDP. 1% change in GDP. Change the paragraph, guys. Please write. Higher the employment elasticity. Higher the employment elasticity. Higher are the chances of employment generation along with economic growth. Right? So this was the first concept. Second concept is just two concepts. Second concept, NPA, non-performing assets. Non-performing asset. This I'll teach you separately in banking, but today it is important. You please write one line. Please write NPA arises in a bank. When does NPA arise? NPA arises in a bank when the borrower is unable to repay the principal or interest. Borrower is unable to repay the principal or interest or both of a bank for 90 days. Guys, when we do banking, we'll do it in detail, but just to tell you one thing, when 99% of the people make mistake, listen to it carefully. I am a bank, you took cash from me. You are supposed to return, this is the principal and this is 10% is the interest rate. You are supposed to return my principal or interest. If you cannot return my principal, at least return my interest. But if you are neither returning my principal nor returning my interest, neither returning both of them for 90 days, which means you are supposed to return it tomorrow, but suppose tomorrow you are not returning, day after tomorrow you are not returning, up to 90 days you don't return. Up to 90 days you are not called, as NPA. On the 91st day, you will be called as my NPA. Because up to 90 days they are saying that we'll give you time, we'll wait. But on 91st day, we will say that you have not returned my principal, you have not returned my interest or DB or both. So on 91st day exactly you become the NPA. Till 90 days you don't become the NPA. When I teach you NPA, then I'll tell you that for first 30 days, when you don't return the money of a bank, you are called as a special mention account 0. So if you don't return the money of a bank up to 30 days, which means you are supposed to return the money today, but for next 30 days, up to 30 days you don't return, you are called as special mention account 0. 30 to 60 days, you are called as special mention account 1. Because they will especially focus on you that, oh, why are you not returning the money? And if you don't return the money for 60 to 90 days, you are called as special mention account number 2. So suppose that your name is ABC. I am a bank called as Bank X. You took money from me, but you did not, and you are supposed to return the money tomorrow. But neither you return the money tomorrow, nor day after tomorrow, nor day after. What 30 days you don't return the money, you are SMA 0. Then bank will say, put this person in the category SMA 0 and keep an eye over this person. They will put a red flag over your name and they will keep an eye. If you do 30 to 60 days, 30 days you are not returning, 31st day also you are not returning, 32nd day also you are not returning. Up to 60 days don't return, you become SMA 1, and 60 to 90 days SMA 2. And the moment it is greater than 90 days, see, mind you, greater than 90 days, not 90, greater than 90 days, for the first time you are called NPA. That's the rule. In many books I have seen, in many good books also, very good notes and good books, people have mentioned that if you don't return the money, you become NPA in 90 days. In 90 days? No, after 90 days. How can you become NPA in 90 days? Because in 90 days you are SMA 2. On 91st day you become SMA, you become NPA, right? So this was the second level. Likh lo you should write it. Since I've already told, write it please. It helps in prelims. Up to 30 days, SMA 0. Below the NPA only, please write it for reference. One day I'll ask you this also. Special mention account. Special mention account. Special mention account. SMA 0. Then 30 to 60 days, SMA 1. 60 to 90 days, SMA 2. Greater than 90 days, you are NPA. And remaining story we'll learn in banking. But for today, we have to understand this concept. Now we are in a position to write what happened in India and why India suffered from jobless. So let's write the points one by one. Let's create a great answer. Please write. Reasons for jobless growth in India. Now we are ready to answer. Please write reasons for jobless growth in India. Reasons for jobless growth in India. Point number one. Point number one. And what did I tell you? Special mention account, what is that? Just a name. So if you don't return the money of a bank, bank gives you a tag, you are SMA. So what are the reasons for jobless growth in India? Guys, I want to ask one question to you, that if somebody will ask you this question, that what is the reason for jobless growth, should you also give little background or simply start writing the answer at point number one, point number two? It's a very bad answer if you start writing point number one. But from where did the point number one come? If it's a 15-mark question, you have to give one small introduction that, okay, this is the background. So then you start writing the points. This is how you get good marks in the exam. Straight away, point number one, examiner will say, my God, how can this be the future policymaker? Because this person is only like walking Wikipedia, storehouse of knowledge, not a leader material. We have to show that we are a leader. You have to sell yourself to UPSC, that, hey, I'm the best. What is the background? This is the background. Let's write it. Please write. Background info. And use it in your answer whenever required. Background info. Underline the word reasons for jobless growth. Underline it. Reasons for jobless growth. Inside that, first section is background info. Please write. In 1970s and 80s, that's the background info. In 1970s and 80s, the government launched multiple employment generation programs. Multiple employment generation programs. Multiple employment generation programs like national rural employment program, like National Rural Employment Program, comma, Integrated Rural Development Program, Integrated Rural Development Program, full stop. The government was promoting labor-intensive jobs. The government was promoting labor-intensive jobs creation. Labor-intensive jobs creation. Change the paragraph, please, and then write. The economy was hit by a crisis. The economy was hit by a crisis. And bacho, correctly just write the name. Later on I'll teach you. The economy was hit by a crisis in the bracket. Yes. BOP, balance of payment crisis. The economy was hit by a crisis in the bracket BOP, balance of payment crisis in 1990. In 1990. The government launched reforms. The government launched reforms which tried to bring the economy, which tried to bring the economy, which tried to bring the economy on high growth path, on high growth path. Please put a full stop. The economy actually started to recover. The economy actually started to recover. In terms of GDP, in terms of GDP and job creation. In terms of GDP and job creation. The government also launched, now there starts the main part, okay? The government also launched big infrastructure projects. Big infrastructure projects. And investment was encouraged. And investment was encouraged. It continued till 2004. It continued till around 2004. Full stop. Change the paragraph. In the following years means years after 2004. In the following years, inflation started to rise. Environmental clearances and land acquisition became a challenge. And subsequently, global financial crisis of 2007-8 also negatively impacted the investment in the economy. However, between 2000 till 2007, there was IT boom, there was information technology boom, IT boom, that is service boom. But between 2000 to 2007, there was IT boom or service boom, right? Both. There was IT boom or service boom, because of which the GDP rate of growth was healthy. Whereas the service-led growth did not generate sufficient employment, sufficient employment opportunities. Sufficient employment opportunities. Hence, starting from around 2004-2005, India entered jobless. Hence, starting from 2004-2005, India entered jobless growth phase. Jobless growth phase. It continued till 2010. And even beyond that, which is reflected in high GDP growth, but very low employment elasticity. In the bracket, around 0.04%. So what is the employment elasticity? Around 0.04%. You can write 0.05 or 0.04, both will be correct. So that's your employment elasticity. Full stop, please. Now, if UPSC will ask you a question, let's say 15 marks. This whole story you have seen, I gave you this whole story. So from this story, so that in future when you revise the notes, it's like a book only. You read it, you'll like, acha, this is what happened actually. But from this story, what is the point that you will pick? The point that you will pick is infrastructure started in 1999, but then inflation happened, cost increased, and then we'll say service boom happened. So infrastructure projects finally came down, service went up, but service does not absorb too many people. Jobs did not get created. So your GDP was maintained because of services, but jobs could not be maintained because ultimately the infrastructure sector got down. This is the summary that you have to write. So this whole story I dictated because I told you something initially when we started the lecture that this year I am giving you more dictations in the class so that the consolidation of the note becomes easy for you. And the handouts are the supporting material, but your real notes, the real soul of your module is your class notes. So anybody reading the class notes, if you revise it before your exam, you will have entire picture. 90%, 99% of the things are there in your class notes this year. And what is the benefit of this? The moment you open the pages of your class notes, you will automatically see, oh, this is the length of the content. So you can easily understand how much to write in the exam. It's there in front of your eyes. You can simply take and write it in the exam. So we'll follow this model. But if UPSC creates a question like this, think about it. We have to be ready for everything. But if UPSC creates a question like this, that define seasonal unemployment, define technological unemployment, define structural unemployment, and then they give you a very small part that why did India suffer from jobless growth? You cannot write this history geography. Nobody is asking that. Now then you will have to write entire thing in like entire story that I gave you in 2 lines, that India entered into service-led growth around 2000 and service has a limitation in terms of creation of employment. That's the reason number 1. That becomes the first reason and summary 1 reason. Are you seeing how the answer will change? If I ask you only jobless growth in 15 marks, फिर तो you write this entire thing. But if I ask you 3-4 questions and one of the questions will be that, you know, like why did India suffer from jobless growth? फिर तो you cannot write this entire history and geography. Then you will have to write like 4-5 small points. Let's be ready with that point as well. Let's write. So let's write another type of dictation where we should be very precise. So please write. So another title, please write. That reasons. Earlier I gave you background. Now I'm giving you the points, solid points. Reasons for jobless growth. The reasons for jobless growth. This you use in exam if they don't give you space. Reasons for jobless growth. Number 1, you are smart kids. What is number 1? India entered into Reason number one, India entered into service-led growth after 2000. Driven by technology. And low employment elasticity. Hence, we experience jobless growth. I want you to learn this art. Did you see how much of dictation I gave in last 15 minutes? Big dictation on the background and summary in 1 or 2 lines. 2 lines, you can give entire summary. Learn this art, you will be ready for this exam. It's not about economics. In GS paper 3, 2, GS paper 4, GS paper 1, essay, you can write big things in 2 lines also. It is possible. But since we are having a lecture and you want to train yourself for UPSC, so first I give you that background so that at least in revision you don't need a textbook. Isileye that. But in exam, if you are getting less space, just write this point. Second point, please write. Let's not waste time. Second point. अब देखो exam type of points, huh? This will fetch you amazing marks in the exam. Examiner is just going to love your answer. So the second point that you should write is demographic dividend. Most welcome, Pawan. Thank you to our team. So please write demographic dividend. Give a title. Second point, demographic dividend. We are writing the second point, demographic dividend. Now listen to me carefully. I'll give you a very short dictation on this. Listen to me carefully, please. What did I tell you in this entire story? One thing which broke our heart. Women. Women broke our heart. Look at him. So choose your words very carefully, right? Yes. So placement of words are very important. What are you saying? You meet me outside the class. Last time also you said something like this. No, I remember. Housewife. Right? So your online friends are asking, sir, we want to meet our friend who has suffered a lot at the hands of women. Come back, guys. Oh, I remember one more story which you told me long time back. Right? Remember? Some transaction. Yes. So yes, he has suffered a lot. So guys, come back now. Now, see, the second point is demographic dividend. Under demographic dividend, what happened is that the male members of the society, for example, let's say I'm the guy in the house, what will parents do? They'll spend some resources over my education, skill, etc. And then they will tell me that, okay, agriculture is not rewarding, go to urban areas for jobs. Where will I get the job? Construction. What will the women do in the house? They have to take care of the family, kids, elders, etc. And they take care in the village area, rural area itself. So what happened eventually in that phase, after 2000, what happened in India, I told you, investment was not happening, new things were not happening. Some old projects were going on, etc. So because of that, the male members who got education and skill, they moved into IT, and those of them who were lucky, they got into construction, but female participation dipped. You see, look at the labor force participation rate. This shows you a very grim picture that, okay, male labor force participation rate 67% and female 9.4% in this phase, which means they could not enter the field of IT, they could not enter the field of construction the way the men entered. That's your fact. So this is one of the biggest problems. So what happened is, because of this, if you look at the overall job scenario, so only they cannot pull the overall job scenario well, because when you look at the jobs created or job opportunities utilized by the society, this and this has to be added. So this is high, this is very low. So your overall labor force participation rate pulled down. This is one of the reasons, which means this is the problem that happened at that time. Why did this problem happen? Reason. Don't write, I'll dictate all this. So the reason for this, if you notice, I told you that after Green Revolution, little bit of mechanization of agriculture also started to happen. So typical jobs which were done by the women force in the field, it started to be replaced by tractors. Why? Men started to move to cities and urban areas, migration started. Now, when migration would start, these village zamindars and people who are having big landlords and etc., They will say that, no, I don't want the women of the house because physically they can't work that hard and I can't, force them to work for 12 hours in a very small salary because my reputation, village, blah, blah, all these things. And women also have to take care of the children and the parents in the house. So she will not be able to give you 10 hours anyway. So what will she do? She will say that I can work for 4 hours, but then nobody will hire you. So ultimately what happened is that a lot of mechanization, little bit of mechanization, tractors, all these things started. Hence, the participation of the female workforce came down in agriculture at that time. Abhi to reverse is happening. So this happened at that time. We'll see the current scenario also. Now look at this, education, skill and awareness. One funny thing which happened in India, which you will also find to be very funny. Now, I remember that roughly around 1951, the government of India started a scheme in India where the government said, anybody who wants to work in factories like government companies or little bit of private companies, government said, I will give you training. I will train you in those things which are being demanded by the industry. Which industries? Government companies. So government said, I will train you. Program started. And who participated in the program? Mostly men. Mostly men. Almost like 90% men went there. And when a question was asked to the women that, why didn't you go? Your husband went. She said, which program? I don't know. So the bad habit of the men is they will not even discuss these things in the house. Look at you guys. Lack of awareness. So if you talk to your mom and dad and ask them that what is that one thing which is a cause of friction between you two, in every household, in my household also, one of the if I ask my mom that I see them fighting over only one thing since childhood, you didn't tell me. Right. So sometimes there are two type of men. One who will overtell you things. You tell them don't speak, they will speak, they will not stop. And second is those who don't speak at all. Even the important things they will not tell you, right? That there's nothing in between, right? So we had tuned in only either of the two ways, right? Understood? Good. So either overspeak or don't speak. So awareness is such a big, it is true research, I'm telling you all this. This is well documented. That women had no idea that there is such a scheme next to their house. This was also a problem. Now the next is change in occupational structure. Oh, occupational structure. Somebody has already taught you occupational structure. So I don't need to waste your time. So what happened in occupational structure? Agricultural mechanization happened. So employment came down. Remember phase 2? Then that started. And then see, industry became capital intensive labor laws. Industry said, no, I don't want to do anything. I want to keep machines. Employment came down and labor intensive industries, not much. This used to be the occupational problem. So I'll give you a dictation, don't worry. So see, we picked the point from here that female participation came down, then we explained why. And then next point, I'll give you a dictation of all this. Look at this. We have already discussed. In our story, we have already discussed. So what is this limitation of tertiary sector? Maximum contribution in GDP is from tertiary because it is exported and the value of the software is also very high. So that's why contribution is very high. But it requires mostly skilled job plus formal. Which means unless you have skill, you cannot be absorbed. Even if you have skill, beyond a point, you cannot be absorbed. So I am like an awesome guy in software. My friend is also awesome in software. He is already working in Infosys. I won't get the job. Even if I'm awesome. Why? There's no scope. It's saying, sorry, one computer, one guy working fine. And my friend is doing overtime also. He says, I can do the job. You're not required. So instead of 10 hours, 8 hours, he's working 12 hours and he's managing life. So I'm not getting the job despite having the talent. Why? Because service have limitations. This point has to be written. Ab dekho ye. This is a beautiful point because the sequence of chapters that I have decided, I might change it, but based on the current importance, reading newspaper every day, I have decided the sequence as of now that after this I'll teach you inflation. And after inflation, I have planned to teach you balance of payments, export, import. That's my plan now. So we'll get away from hardcore mains area for some time because I feel that to understand current affairs and newspaper, it is required. So first inflation and then balance. Why? Because anybody who does not understand inflation cannot understand balance of payments. So inflation, balance of payments. In balance of payment, one thing that we will do in the class, I'll show you a big chart and I'll tell you, it was a dream of India to become export-led economy like China. Because when you export products, see, demand come from only two sources, domestic demand, foreign demand. Domestic demand is a problem in India. Why? Because only some section of the society was evolving, the middle class, the elite class, since 1951. But we understand that there was huge poverty in India initially. Abhi to poverty has come down. So when you have two sections in the society, what is the elite class, what is the premium class, they will demand certain kind of items, but the daily use items are demanded by people who are at the normal level, but that normal level was not there in India. Hence the industries who would produce this were gayab, they were not there because there was no demand. So this was the problem that happened in India. So government of India at that time only thought that let's do one thing. Let us not only depend on the Indian market, let us also export. So that when Indian market is down, at least we will export and get money. And when you export, you have to create factories. In the factory, you have to create jobs. So this was our big dream. It never happened. Because to create export, you need to do R&D. Without R&D, how will you develop the products? Research and development. But we never had the money for research and development. To create research and development, you need money to create infrastructure first, big labs, etc. We never had the money. So infrastructure not there, research and development not there, skill and training not there. And in fact, few days back, there was this article in the newspaper which said that let us look at those countries who are winning Nobel Prize in science. Right? So they say that there is a drought in India. Right? So it looks as if we have forgotten our roots. We were so good in science. But then because of the lack of support, etc., most of the scientists out of India, they have gone. So the contribution which was supposed to come from them, since they are not there, is not coming. And the current generation government is not supporting the way they should in terms of infrastructure, etc. So that's missing. Why did Mr. Rohan Murthy feel the need, Mr. Narayan Murthy's son, feel the need to create AI lab in MIT? He created the AI lab in MIT and he did not create it in India. Why? Because he said that, simple, he was very blunt. He said, I don't find too many people with the right skill to carry on with these projects. So if I create this lab in India, no global scientist, etc. would come to India. So I created it at MIT so that every global talent can be hired there. And he says that from there he will bring it back to India, but he needs government support. Government is not in the mood to support. Which means there is always a mismatch between what industry wants and what the government wants. Big tussle happens. That's the reason that the best of brain in this country, they are opening their research centers outside India. Singapore is one place, UAE is another place. UAE is also promoting a lot of Indian talent. And then you have USA, which is promoting a lot of Indian talent, right? So these are the problems. So we could never become an exporting country because we never promoted R&D and infrastructure. Yes, Devanshu, absolutely. Now, stunted growth of MSMEs. I taught you MSMEs, right? And I told you that MSMEs in India never had the credit, never had the technology, never had the opportunity. And they were also always hiding their income. Why? Because the more you hide your income, the more subsidies you get. So government of India always used to feel that, oh, my MSMEs are, chotu kids, they are very small. But then later on, they are not small, they are big. So they used to always hide and they never created the kind of opportunities that we wanted them to create. Can I tell you one fake thing done by some of the MSMEs in India? I told you this in the class. Suppose I'm a very big entrepreneur, very, very big. Government of India has made a rule that I will only buy the machines or I will only buy this digital pen for the government from MSMEs. I'm a very big company. I know government will not buy it from me. What will I do? I'll call my cousin. And I'll say, beta, I'm going to open an MSME for you. So now I will fund my cousin and we'll call it a startup. MSME will start functioning. Money is coming from me and all my friends. And now my cousin goes to the government and gets all the contract of this digital pen. Government has no idea what is happening behind. There is no way you can find these things so easily because we have amazing chartered accountants who can manage all these things. Our CAs are also awesome, right? So I also have a very awesome CA friend. I learned all these things from him only. So he has taught me so many things which my colleagues didn't teach me, right? Amazing creative guy. So what do these people do? They create MSMEs and they tell the government, we are chotu MSMEs, please help us. Government says, yeah, you are so small. And what are these MSMEs doing? Now hear this out. So this MSME by my cousin is almost a fake company. They are getting government orders to produce this pen. You know what he does? He will come to me and tell me, bro, give me this pen. Sell it to me. So sell me the components, I'll assemble it. Done. So who is producing the pen? Big company. Who is assembling it? Small company. Who is selling it to the government? Small company. How much employment was created in the small company? Absolutely nothing. For assembly, you need 2-3 people. Done. So even MSMEs were not creating the job. So lack of credit, I don't want to write corruption here. So we'll say lack of credit. Because this story cannot be written in the exam. What is the source? I can't say my CA friend told me because he's doing all these things. Why should I tell you his name is Vikas? I will never tell you this. Yes, sir, these things we should never reveal in the class. His career will be in threat. Right. So now comes strict labor laws. I told you the labor laws, 100 people working in a factory. If you want to fire somebody, take permission from government will never give you the permission. Yes. Manas says, yes, source, trust me, bro. Absolutely. You're watching too many reels, huh, Manas? So what is this? Slow growth of industry plus impact of technology. And I told you that industries grew slowly. Why? Because government support in terms of infrastructure was not there. So that's why they were not growing a lot. And hence, we never created the employment. What was growing amongst all these things? Only one thing was growing, services. All these things are manufacturing, completely shut down. One thing is booming, services. But service does not require too many people. And in the middle of all this, when all this drama was happening in India, you know, Indian service industry became top 5 in the world. And at a point of time, our contribution in the global services was in double digit. We are one of the best in the world in service export. Low price, huge volume. We played the low price volume game. One software, very low profit margin. So every country in the world say, hey, call India, call India. You are getting more orders, which means profit is very high. GDP is high. This was the thing which was happening. Because more people were, you know, making a lot of money. Indian companies were making more money. So this is the answer that we have to have. That if you are reading very generic answers, if you are writing very generic answer in the exam, imagine a generic answer. Service sector boomed in India, hence we could not have, you know, jobs, hence jobless growth. What else will you write? These precise points have to be written in there. Otherwise, the marks will not be given. Abhi theek hai? All okay? Please write. Point number 2. Second point, demographic. So please write that in this phase, which phase? 2005 onwards. In this phase, in the bracket 2005 onwards, in this phase 2005 onwards, in this phase 2005 onwards, the LFPR male labor force participation rate, LFPR male, started to increase. Whereas LFPR female declined. LFPR female declined. Hence overall, LFPR was low. Average was low, hence overall LFPR was low. Third point, please write, bacho. Mechanization of agriculture. Now very simple points. Mechanization of agriculture. Very simple point. Mechanization of agriculture. So please write. Agriculture adopted technology and demanded less female workers. And demanded less female workers. Next point. The skill, education, training. Please write next point. Next point, guys. The skill, education, training, and awareness. The skill, education, training, and awareness in the female labor force was very low, which led to low female LFPR, female labor force participation rate, female LFPR. Next point. What is this point, guys? Fifth point or sixth point? Fifth point, please write. Changing occupational structure. Changing occupational structure. In this, please write that mechanization of agriculture, comma, more use of capital by industries, and very low employment elasticity of IT services led to low employment opportunities. Right? Acha, by the way, are you noticing something? In service sector, whenever we are writing services, we are specifically writing IT and we are specifically writing employment elasticity. Because we are trying to tell the examiner that we know it, that the employment generation potential of services is low, but the income generation potential of services is very high. So instead of writing big points and wasting our time in the exam and space in the exam, we are just capturing it through one word, employment elasticity. Otherwise, imagine how much we'll have to write. Income generation is high, but employment is, we don't have to write all that. Just write employment elasticity. And why I didn't say, why we are not writing very generic statement that employment elasticity of service is low, that's wrong. Employment elasticity of IT kind of services are low, but health and education is also a service. Its employment elasticity is very high. So we need to be careful. In fact, don't you feel that one of the suggestions that I'm going to give you when I tell you that what are the solutions to get away from jobless growth, how to improve jobless growth, don't you think that one of the suggestions will be that we should be using those services also which have high employment elasticity like health and education? There we will make that point. So we are reserving that point for that. So next point, please write. This point, that we have already written a tertiary sector. We already included in the occupational structure. We already wrote. So if we write the same point again, it's a wastage of space. We already wrote employment elasticity. So I don't think we should have written this point. It's a repetition, wastage of time. So now next point, please write. India, please write. India, next point. India aimed to become export-led economy. Exporting sectors generally create demand for labor. Exporting sectors generally create demand for labor, but because of lack of infrastructure, and research and development facilities, India could not develop export base. Next point. See guys, many a times, no, it is our compulsion. I told you so, no, that I want to make you write the real things about MSMEs. I have taught you MSME already. These points we have already discussed. But those points which I just told you can't be written. So now we have to be more pragmatic in our approach, little more like leaders, little more like government. So we have to be almost like very balanced. So in a very subtle way, we are going to criticize the government. Very subtle way and very civilized way. See how. So please write. The MSMEs, next point. The MSMEs could not grow in size. and generate employment. And generate employment. Because of challenges like lack of capital, as well as the incentives designed by the government which motivated the MSMEs to remain small. That's it. So imagine the examiner reading it. Examiner knows all these things, bacho. They are trained. They know everything. So if you are hinting this thing, no, they will understand, okay, this guy or girl very subtle. They know the point. They are being very civilized. That's it. And they would love you. They would say that, bring this person. The country needs these kind of people, right? Who can change glasses also when you come out of your aircraft. And then this becomes a national news. Since yesterday, I am seeing that only. Right? Every time I am reading newspaper, I am seeing that picture. Every time I am watching some news, I am seeing that picture only. Indian media is amazing. They are not talking about the real thing. They are talking about how many times he changed the glass. And they are saying, no, they are putting James Bond music behind him. And they are posting those things on the news chat. Dekho, whole day I am here only, so I am not able to watch the live news. I only watch the recorded news here and there sometimes. So every time recorded news, seeing the news and listening to the main content, I'm listening James Bond music, tang, 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 etc. and guns showing. Unbelievable, right? So where is foreign policy in that? Unbelievable. Yeah, so see your friend is saying boss aura. You are watching too many reels, Priyanka. Control.
So can we write in this point that lack of proper roadmap from transition from assembly to manufacturing?
Assembly to manufacturing. Yeah, we can. So, for example, there we can write. Right. Thank you so much. So, I'm going to copy a point of your friend. So, she sounds like Dr. Rajan. Right? Please write. So, next point. Labor law. Give you a lecture. Please write. India very long, rigid after MS. It a long, rigid, and multiple labor laws. Which prompted companies to hire casual workers and also replace workers with machine with machine. Next. So that overall growth of manufacturing has very slow and almost stagnant. Higher focus has been given to assembly rather than local manufacturing. Full stop. Guys, when I get some new points like this from you guys, like you gave a point, some time back one of your had given a point in the last lecture, it's so happy, it's such a happy moment, because then I feel that slowly you are moving towards a direction when after a few months you won't require me. Because that's what every guardian or parent or faculty wants, that after a point of time you should have faculties. You should help also to learn the subject when time comes. So when you crack your exams, you have some time, go to various colleges, universities, give a speech, like I have seen this guy doing, Gaurav Agarwal, rank 1 from Rajasthan. So he's well-educated person. He has worked in corporate sector also. IIT, IIM Lucknow. So, and then he has worked in Hong Kong, comes back to India, cracks the exam, gets rank 1. He is an engineer, he did his MBA, but he had economics optional. So these days he goes to various colleges, like recently I saw him, my friend was there, is still there in IIT Jodhpur. So he told me that Gaurav Agarwal came to give a speech and he was teaching the students about some fundas of finance. So he's teaching, helping various students, like not as a mentor, but as an officer. Whenever he gets time, he trains the people that he's responsible in terms of finance, save money, where to invest. Amazing things being done. And he does it all free of cost. So he's just giving a speech and helping people in society. So there are so many things that you can do. You know, you can contribute in so many various ways when you get into services. But today what you should do is, today you should learn, today you should first understand things, then you should always develop a tendency points from your own side in the exam, because that will make your answer unique. And then that's the reason I gave you MCQs today and told you that you think over it again one more time, and tomorrow I hope that you don't have a doubt. And imagine that you come in the class and then you tell me tomorrow morning that, yeah, I don't have a doubt. Imagine how empowered you will feel from inside. That yes, and if you have 1 or 2 doubts, that's always fine, because doubt means learning. So it shouldn't happen that, okay, I don't have a doubt, so I'm great. No. Even if you have doubt, you are great. Why? Because you are learning. But over a period of time, your dependency on others should come down. You should become that support for others in future. This should be a thought process. So I think you have written all the points. Now there is one point which I want to make you write: how to come out of jobless growth. I wish I knew the answer. I would win a Nobel Prize. Right? So I hope you understand my sentiments, but don't tell anyone that, faculty was saying that even I don't know. He said, don't say all this. But I'm saying a different way, that I wish I knew how to control inflation. I wish I knew how to prevent economic crisis. I wish I knew how to take India out of growth. I wish I knew how to prevent global crisis. For all these things, if I would write one page also, I'll get 5 Nobel Prizes. But, and trust me, nobody knows, because nobody has won a Nobel Prize on all these things. I know there are people who have won Nobel Prizes in inflation, but whenever inflation hits the world economy, these are the same people who go silent. They go in hibernation. They will not come in media. And they have won Nobel Prizes. Because the theories don't work. It's social science. How can one theory which you developed 30 years back? I'll give an example to you. Labor laws. So when the British were there in India, and after the British left, the government of India defined labor laws like this. Government of India said that there are only 2-3 types of employment. One will be salary, one will be if you are running your own business, and one will be casual labor. And government said, this is labor law. So social security for you, social security for you. For casual worker, no social security. Wow. But today the world is different. Today you have got something called as gig workers, right? Platform, non-platform worker. So how can government of India provide security to these workers unless you define what is gig? Are you understanding the challenge now in the labor laws? Because the world has moved, new things have come. So labor laws also needs to be changed, just like we are amending constitution because new developments are happening. Not that we hate constitution. We want to make it more powerful. So amendments are sometimes done, most of the time, to make it more powerful and more inclusive. Similarly, labor codes have to be changed and altered, not because we want to destroy it, but we want to make it more powerful so that gig workers are also not left out. Similarly, let's say that we feel that women are facing a huge discrimination in terms of payments. So obviously, labor laws have to be changed. Why? Because earlier the position of women in the formal employment law was not coming out of the house, but now she is. Feminization of agriculture is also happening. Men have moved out, only women are left. So now they are going to the factories and they are saying, I will produce tomato ketchup, don't disturb me. And yet you are following the old labor laws where the wage difference was accepted. That is okay. You need to change that. That's number one. So are you seeing the changes now? So that's why we say that in a changing world, these things need to change. Hence, anybody who gives a solution 5 years back that this is how you should come out as growth will not work. The solution has to be new. It has to have dynamism in it so that every year if something new comes, we can go ahead with that. Just say, I can give an example to you. So currently, the government of India used to say previously, I don't know how I'll create employment. I am the government. I am following a philosophy called as minimum government, maximum governance. I will not create factories. I will let the private companies hire. What did private companies do? Private companies said, how will I hire? Because global scenario is not good. I can't export. Nobody wants any export because global volatility is there. So I can't hire. So then government said, okay, government cannot hire, private cannot hire. What to do? Self-employment. Startup India. So then comes up with startup. And then government realizes, no, what about women? What about SCs and STs who are at disadvantage? So government launch Stand Up India. And government says, for you, Stand Up India. Right. So these are some of the things government is doing. So these are some of the steps which government is doing to take out the economy from jobless growth. Next, government realized that permanent jobs not available because still we don't have base of manufacturing. Government is saying, I'll promote gig workers. Wow. You promote gig and flexi workers. But if you are promoting gig workers and flexi workers, then government of India, you should know that there are two types of gig workers. One is platform, one is not platform. So suppose that I am working on a platform. I am working for urban company. I'm a urban company. Now government of India says, I will promote gig workers, but urban company is exploiting me. So complain to the government, go to a court and say, I am being exploited. Court will ask to government of India, government, do you have any act or rule to protect these workers? Because if there is no act or rule, how can the court intervene? So now the government of India says, no, I don't have it. So then the court says, come on, have a definition of platform, have a definition of non-platform, have a definition of gig so that I can help. So to take out economy out of jobless growth, you have to do steps, including the new steps. So when you read books, etc., new steps not given. Hence the answer cannot be fixed. And you are a creative individual, you can write different answer. But let me give you a framework. Please write. Please write. Solution to jobless growth. Or bracket will live no Nobel Prize. Solution to jobless growth. Solution to jobless growth. I find it so funny to teach this part. Solution to jobless growth. But I'll give you a serious answer. Solution to jobless growth. Please write. The nature of economy. The nature of economy and occupational structure is changing. Hence, dynamic steps are required. Hence, dynamic steps are required to control jobless growth. To control jobless growth. And create new employment opportunities. New employment opportunities. Bachcho, I want to ask a question from you. Every answer that you give, I am very sure, I am very confident, every answer you are going to give will be a point of the answer. Question number 1. Can you please tell me that if you want to create jobless, there is one sector which India has missed out, which needs to be made stronger. What is that sector? Industrial, and within industrial, manufacturing. Construction though is good. We have missed out on manufacturing. Now, if you promote manufacturing sector, suppose that you are promoting the sector and saying, please manufacture this digital pen and tomato ketchup. From where should the demand of the product come? There are two types of demand. One is within India and one is export, foreign demand. Export. Is export in your hand?
No.
So which means yes. Which means if you want to create jobs, absolutely correct. Which means that if you want to job, my first instinct would be that this is a firm, this is a factory, I should promote first. Because in service we are already number 1. We need services, but we are already, so create this factory. The moment you create the factory, there should be two demands, domestic demand and there must be export demand. For export demand, how do you create export demand? By signing agreement with countries. That, hey, buy my product, I'll buy your product. This is one way. Remember trade agreements which we have studied. Now comes the trade agreement. Yes, trade agreement. So that's one. And how do you create domestic demand? Listen to it very carefully and this is how it is done. So how do you create domestic demand? To create, absolutely get that. To create domestic demand, two things, rural, urban. That's why I gave you the example of Apple today. How do you create rural demand? For example, suppose there is agriculture. You know very well there is disguised unemployment here. People are there, but they are not contributing and they are helpless. So you take some people from here and bring them to food processing industry called agro industry. And you know why I'm taking the name of agri? You'll be surprised to know, happy to know, and also think that, oh, government is talking about it today. In economics of this year, and I promised you that I'm going to teach you economic survey and budget within the syllabus itself. So this year in economic survey, at least 5 pages have been devoted to food industry, where government of India is saying that food processing is the solution to rural employment. That's the topic given in the economic survey this year. Earlier, food processing industry was given in a chapter called industries. Every year, one paragraph used to be given or one page in a chapter called industries. But this year, in the chapter called industries in economic survey, there is nothing called food process. They haven't given that. They said, no, it is not a part of industry. We are taking it out. It is a part of employment generation. Wow, approach has changed. Yes, of course, we have. Your friend is asking, we have a class tomorrow, yes. So, what is the government? I'm teaching you such important theory, you are asking about the class. You are a very innocent kid. Come back here, huh? Very innocent kid. Now come back here, guys. Let me complete, please. So what is happening here? I'm telling you about the current things. No, you should listen to it carefully. So what is happening? Economic survey says that if you want to create, improve agriculture, first you create food processing industry. And what is the beauty of food processing industry? It absorbs a lot of women labor force, right? So labor force participation rate of female will increase. Wow, that's interesting. And number two, if you want to promote agriculture and you want to help the men along with women, now promote irrigation. See this? Promote warehouses, promote the storage facilities like cold storage also, promote transportation and promote agricultural market distribution. So we are saying that these are the things which are missing in India. How do we know that these things are missing in India? Because there is a committee, which I'll teach you in agriculture. There is a committee called Dalwai Committee. And Dalwai, absolutely, you know it. Dalwai Committee has said that whatever we produce in agriculture, roughly 30 to 40, they have said 35 only, but currently it has become 40. So 30 to 40% of our crops are wasted. We just throw it. And he has given a reason, these things. So we are saying, how will your food processing industry be established when you throw this, when you throw the crops? So see the correction. So if you want to have food processing industry so that you can absorb, you need to promote the supporting infrastructure of agriculture so that crops are not thrown. One. Don't throw, store and give it to this industry, create employment. Ab dekho magic. So when you create employment here, currently the rural area is only demanding mobile phone. Tomorrow they will say, I need laptop also. Refrigerator also, global temperature, global warming is happening. So they're going to demand a lot of gadgets which will create, see, domestic demand in rural areas. Rural areas. Thank you so much. So rural areas, this is urban now. And how do you make sure that in urban areas you create the employment? You create the employment in urban areas by providing skill, right? Aisa nahi hai that in rural you don't provide skill. If you don't provide skill, how will people work in FPI? So obviously skill is a part of it. But in urban India, because we have a phenomenon of urban slums also, migration also. So your focus in the urban area should be first, because the skill level of India is very low. Out of entire working age group of 18 to 59, less than 5% people are skilled. So we have to provide skill to them. Once you provide skill to them, now see the magic that will happen. Skill plus startups plus stand-up plus make in India plus PLI, production linked incentive. You provide the parallelly you have so many schemes. These are the people who are going to take up these things now. Because these are the places where employment opportunities are being created. So definitely they would like to join. with one problem. You need to change your labor laws. Because if you keep your labor laws very strict, again same thing will happen. This Make in India PLI will say, I don't need people, I need machines. And there is a tendency. So Government of India should make sure that they find a middle path. Because you are trying to protect workers, I get it. But in the name of overprotection, what is happening is, you are indirectly motivating the industries and saying, don't take workers. That's bad. So I'm saying I'm protecting, but it's backfiring. So Government of India should make changes in labor laws. Dekho, this is how you should create the demand. So how do you create industries? To create industries here, you need infrastructure. Which scheme is helping you with infrastructure, which I have not taught because infrastructure topic I'll take towards the end. NIP, National Infrastructure Pipeline. So there is a program by Government of India plus PM Gati Shakti. There is a program by Government of India called NIP and Gati Shakti. Through this, you are providing infrastructure. Through this same thing, you are providing infrastructure in villages. And then through this only, you are establishing a skill training institute in urban area. That's your solution. Now imagine you are not writing the solution like this. You are writing fragmented points. That do this, do that. Examiner will say, person is good, but not very organized. Perhaps more time is required. Yeah, seriously, they think like this. I have seen things like this. The kid is very good, not in UPSC, but I have seen in university. The kid has huge potential. But I think if we give them low marks, they will be motivated to study more. Give them low marks. Wow, give them low marks. You are destroying by giving low marks. But they are saying give them low marks motivation. Why same thing government is doing in labor laws. Protect them. They'll become strong. Acha, you protect them, industry goes ahead and finds a machine and a robot. So guys, please write. Number one, first point. That the government should.
Sir, don't we draw a chart regarding this?
We can.
Diagram?
Once we complete the writing part, I can suggest that you. The government should focus on. We can. It's a good idea. So the government should focus on establishing manufacturing sector in both rural and urban areas. Is a paragraph. To generate global demand, government can create new trade deals, and to generate domestic demand, we should improve rural economy. Next point. So now let us write the point about rural economy, right? The government improve rural infrastructure like irrigation, warehouse and cold storage, comma, rural roads, and rural housing, which promotes agriculture and generates rural demand. Next point. To encourage industries and manufacturing, the speed of infrastructure development, should increase, along with changes in labor laws, and tax reforms, changes in labor laws and tax reforms. जैसे बच्चों, if you put too heavy taxes on industry, will go to other countries. Simple. We study taxes. I'll teach in grade taxation. Next point, please. Right. अच्छा बच्चों, did you see that we something called as high employment elasticity sector like health and education? And you remember yesterday I gave you a list of industries through ASI that there are some sunrise sectors in India. Remember that sunrise sector which generates a lot of jobs. Yes. So what are we going to write? Dekho, this is how you know. So let I have it in 1 minute. That point. Just a second. Yeah. See this. This is what I showed you yesterday. See. So if you are the government of India and you have to promote more jobs in India, which sectors will you promote? These are all sunrise sectors. And why are these sectors not showing result? Why this sector is not showing result? Cold storage not there, warehouse not there, facilities are not available. We are still wasting our food grain, so how will they get it? That's why this is one of the reasons they are suffering. Automobile sector, I told you that steel became very costly in India. And plus global demand was not there because of global scenario. Otherwise, our automobile is doing very well. And it generates a lot of jobs also. Pharmaceutical industry, it could not generate the jobs that we wanted, but even then it is very decent. 21 jobs, that's very decent. So if you look at sectors, yes, we generate a lot of jobs, and how can we, in 1 or 2 words, can say that the employment elasticity is high in sunrise industries. So what is the point that we'll write? Once again to say that government of India must focus and priority on those sunrise industries or sectors where employment elasticity is very high. Government of India, Mr. First, I should promote these in my state, these in my country. That parallelly, once this is done, I promote others also. It's not that others are not being promoted, but my focus will be this first. In those areas where we are weak, we will try to, because these sectors generate more, because people are used in these sectors. A lot of people are used. You will never see aircraft here, because when you manufacture aircraft and defense, they don't generate a lot of jobs. So see, it's not there. But whatever you see here mostly requires people. Machines are also required. People are also required. So please write next point that the government would focus on those sectors in the bracket sunrise, those sectors sunrise, close the bracket, which have high employment elasticity, high employment elasticity. Example, just 1 or 2 examples. Textile, food processing, FPI, electronics, and so on. Next point, please write. Government should also promote and modernize MSMEs. Also promote and modernize MSMEs, which create Intensive job, labor intensive jobs. Let's write the conclusion. In addition to these steps, the government improve the and quality, coverage and quality of quality of schemes like Make in India, Make in India, Start, Stand up, industry, and also industry, academia, relationship to provide see this guys, industry, academia, relationship to provide skill set, new skill set, which to get jobs, As you can see, etc. tomorrow. Since I already told you 2-3 points. Achha, so far, all okay. I know it was a totally mains-oriented kind of session with only 2-3 points about prelims, but that's how this topic is. The prelims were very limited. The ones which I told you already initially were small points which I told you, employment elasticity, structural unemployment, technological unemployment. These are prelims point, but most of them are main point, and this is a hardcore mains topic. So I gave you a also when you have to write a whole story, how do you write the answer? When you have to write precise answer, how do you write it? So this is labor laws, labor reforms. Mostly labor reforms and labor laws, they are part of GS paper 2. But then this time they asked in GS paper 3. So very but in GS paper 3, they focus on the economic aspect little more. But then if you get a question in the exam related to labor laws, how can you not start your answer with you have to? Look at labor. If you open the constitution, you will see that labor is in the concurrent list. It is in the concurrent list. The word labor is mentioned in the concurrent list. Hence, if somebody has to make a rule related to labor in India, it has to as well as there is one problem. Center and state both have to mix together. Sometimes center will say, I am thinking this is right. State will say, no, according to me, this is not right. So what can center do? Can center force a state and say, I have passed an act that you have to follow? No, they cannot. So what can center do? Center can say that India has to create a minimum wage act. But state will say different from the other state. That you have to give. So at max, center can create a guideline, list of guidelines. Even if they pass the act to be in the nature of guideline, instructions. Fine details has to be done with keeping the state confidence. It cannot be only center in this. So then what has happened in India? If you look at the board, I have something. There are 29 central labor laws. If in some cases, if you read the textbook, etc., they will mention 44. Ultimately, all of them were converted into 29. So 29 central labor laws plus multiple hundreds of state labor laws, so which means that you have center and state both multiple and because the labor laws of India which were there, they did not include the words like gig worker, and India has already been using gig and flexi worker since very long. Flipkart and eBay, these things were there in India since very long. I can give you a surprise. You know, eBay entered India almost like 20 years back, 25 years back to deliver the things online. And Flipkart, etc., almost like they entered India. India got the first definition of e-commerce in the year 2017. Till 2017, we had no definition of e-commerce. So on many occasions, when Amazon and Flipkart, they used to do something which was not good according to the country rules and regulations, we took them to court. The government of India went to court, and government of India filed a case against Amazon and Flipkart. They are doing this, they are doing that. Court said, according to which rule they have the rules and regulations. How do you define the company portals in India? Government said, we don't have it. Said, wow. You don't have a definition. So for the first time, a definition was created, 2018 definition finalized, and UPSC 2019 asked the question in prelims. According to definition, what is blah, 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 all that, right? So, multiple and outdated. Are you getting all these points now? It's not random. So what did Government of India do? In the year 2002, the Government of India established National Commission. 2002, mind you, we are a tropical country, lazy, emotional, intelligent, smart. Lazy part is very important. In 2000, National Commission on Labour, it said that in how many days we have to give the report. Take your time. Because we are tropical. They took time. And finally in 2019, Government of merged all rules and regulated to wages, everything merged. There were at least 5 acts of parliament related to wages of the workers. Everything merged. We called them as code on wages. So we codified them. Because under a code there would be various acts. So various acts were merged and we created a code. And we said that this is what we are supposed to follow. And in that code mentioned. So this is called as Code on Wages 2019. And then we have the Code on Social Security 2020. And under on Social Security, all the new pension schemes that you are studying. You see what I have written? Empowers 75 various social sector schemes. Empowers the center. So hence the every day coming up with new social sectors that you cannot force the state. So a state says, some of the states are saying that, no, I will decide on my own, don't disturb. Center says, no, but my model is the best. The state says, our model is the best because it suits us. That is also the case. So see, there is a dispute resolution mechanism also. And then you have Industrial Relation Code 2020. The meaning of industrial relation is, suppose that I am a worker in an industry. And Government of India has given only 3 definitions. Either you are wage employed or self-employed or casual. But I am a gig worker. I cannot claim any from the company. If the company does not pay me salary, etc. If I go to complain to the government, government will not even help me. Government will say, beta, in my dictionary, you don't exist. Oh, I am related. I am related to this company. Government says, related according to what? I said, but you didn't. So what happened in the new labor codes? Industrial Relation Code 2020, Government of India has put new definitions also. And what are the new definitions? They have wide definition. First is the meaning of skilled worker for the first time we defined. Then we defined unskilled worker. Then we defined permanent employees. These are the words which were not defined since independence. Can you believe it? No definition. So according to one person I am skilled, according to another I am not. Wow. And then what do we define also? Because there are various types of contract. Either you directly sign a contract with the company workers through a agency. All these things are defined now. And plus this rule of 100 days, etc., also. So I'll tell you about it. It's called as Industrial Relation Code. And then there is one more called as Occupational Safety, Health and Working Condition. What does it say? It says that if you are working in a particular company, so your every year health checkup has to be done by the company itself. They have to give you some benefits checkup. Plus, you cannot, example, listen to it very carefully. If women force workers or female workers have joined your company, then you cannot force them to perform tasks. You cannot send them near the furnace. Furnace is what it says, you can't send them near the furnace. Similarly, some chemical industry, there are restrictions. That the female workers, the labor force, female labor force participation cannot happen in certain plastic industries. Restrictions are there. Whatever impacts the health, the state should decide what rules. Health has to be protected at cost. What has some of the state has done? They have a list of like 20-30 companies and they have sectors like plastic, like chemical, even in textile they have mentioned that female workforce not allowed. I am the female labor force. I am in my state, I am saying I am skilled. I mean, my husband is going in that company wearing gloves and mask. Why I? Government says, no, I'm protecting you. From what? So state government says, no, according to labor laws. Do you the other side of it now? Everything has two sides. So center said protect. State said, Acha, protect, I'll overprotect. So in the name of overprotection, what will happen? Labor force participation rate in some of the activities will be down. So if an industry related to medicine, and if I'm going to a certain state of India, for example, let's say I go to Odisha, Odisha will tell me, no, according to us, women should not participate there. I'll say, why? So they'll say that, as a friend is saying, it is also mentioned in DPSP, but also mentioned in this code to protect this. Now, how to protect is not mentioned. Concurrent. So state will decide. So what will the medicine factory do? They'll go to other state. Odisha. Done. Or they will leave India. They will overprotect, leave. This is also happening in India. So whatever is the good thing also has a flip side. So what has government said here in payments? Government has said that there should be minimums at national level. So government of India has said that there should be a certain level of wage below which you cannot give to workers. Manrega, you cannot give below 500, 600. But states are saying, no, according to us the wage should be decided, which is correct. Because in many states things are costly. I am a state which does not produce agricultural products. In my state, fruits will be costly. How can I give a lower wage? So government has said, okay, states will decide their respective wage. Delhi recently has increased the wages. Yes, because under this act. Plus what is here that male and female both should get equal pay. For same work, equal pay. There should be no discrimination. But you understand that it is being violated blatantly. So that's another problem. Negative side, what is the mechanism to check? Verbal mechanism, as your friend was saying, bro, I am giving equal wages to everyone in my company, trust me. Trust me? Right, that's the problem. Then the government of India has mentioned here that every 5 years, the wages should be renewed. Why? Every years, inflation has to be taken into account. Maybe inflation is happening, year to year inflation not very important, but in 5 years if inflation is high or permanent, so then wage needs to be changed. These are the things which are mentioned here. This we have to do. So I think we better do it tomorrow. But today I will give you that just these 3 lines. This, not this, just this. So please write. Labor reforms in India. Points are over. Points are over. The jobless growth point is over. But we are, new heading, labor reforms in India. And this labor reform is connected to jobless growth only. Because in one of the points we wrote jobless growth. That labor reform should be there. That's why we are doing it. So please write labor reforms in India. Please write labor is a subject. Labor is a concurrent subject. Historically, India has, guys, write like this. India has had, historically, India has had multiple central laws and state laws. Many of them having outdated. Chase a paragraph, please, and then write National Commission on Labour, 2002, recommendation to reform the labour laws, all the central and state laws, please put a full stop and write, all the central and state laws have been codified, which means converted into codes, codified into 4 labor codes starting from 2019, starting from 2019. The labor codes are as follows. Starting from 2009. The labor codes are as follows. We'll write it tomorrow because I have to teach you this. It's about writing, it's about understanding. So labor codes, etc. tomorrow. So heavy. This was light only, it was not heavy. Stories only. But points have to be memorized. The UPSC asked the question, which one of the following is the... It's a very big thing. What have your friend written? The UPSC asked the question, which one of the following is the reason of the biggest cause in India? And the answer was marriage. But sir, earlier we saw a common pattern where men would either, while the women would stay in one, however good would take their money. Absolutely. Saurabh, absolutely correct point. So your friend is making a point from, I think, society and social issues. So your friend is mentioning a point, very good point. He says that initially the men migrated, later on the female also migrated because they have to accompany the husband who has already started to stay in the urban slums, etc. So your friend is saying that later on the female also migrated. Yes, but only some. And then the male and the female used back to pursue culture. When Manrega started, they started to come back also. And then your friend is saying that the zamindars used to snatch away the land. Good day, guys. Then the zamindars used to snatch away the land, and this zamindari culture even now exists. You're saying even now it is exists. Yes. So good day. If you have another class, etc. Good day. Take care. Don't revise everything now. Just revise it in the evening. Tomorrow we have a class. And the part and the ending of labor codes. So I think tomorrow in the first hour we are about to complete this part. It will be done. And then tomorrow only I want to start inflation. Monday you have a test of employment, entire thing related to only employment. And this time in employment, ask you MCQs also, ask you questions also. I am planning to give you 3 questions as usual. So one question I am planning in such a way that 1 question 1 hour. So in that you will write also, we will discuss also. So 1 hour each question, 3 hours are you guys. MCQ plus Monday. Okay guys. So just you stay back. People who are dependent on this social income, etc. Yes. Self-employed, new category, self-employed. Your friend is asking about food blog, YouTube heroes. Idea self-employed because their job is monetized, mind you. Rajan, you are asking. I am thinking about those things. Right? Don't. All right, evaluate. Yes, evaluation done. And the previous evaluation is already done. As I told you that I have not put any marks, I have just put my comments, which I will provide to you. One question out of curiosity, a single evaluator evaluates only one part of the answer. Right? Not all the parts. If they do not earn in a month, then they don't earn in a month, then you ask those questions. Usual status, correct? Remember? So according to that. All right. Thank you so much, guys. So, guys, don't waste time. Go and eat. Then in revise. Tomorrow tomorrow I'll come and start one. Monday. Just a second. Seasonal unemployment. So seasonal unemployment would mean that in Indian agriculture, if you see, there is always a slot of 3 months in India where the farmers are sowing seeds, nor they are harvesting, nothing in agriculture. That time what happens is the farmers have no work. So they move away from agriculture. That's seasonal unemployment in agriculture. Similarly, there are a few things which are seasonal in industries also. Diwali is happening. So a lot of people are going to use crackers, firecrackers, or some decoration items, etc. So these industries stay only for 2-3 months. After that, the industries and factories are shut down for rest of the year. People who work there, seasonally unemployed then. They go to some other place. So seasons that based on the demand in a particular season, people are working. In remaining part, they are not. So tomorrow I will do labor laws and that your test. Thank you so much. All right.